I do wish there was anything in my life that even came close to the happiness 8-year-old me got from a McDonald's Happy Meal, though.
Yeah.
This is Imperial Skulls of Honor Podcast. I'm Josh Folan.
And I'm Jay Baxtron.
And we're going to be bullshitting about the formative years of console gaming as we revisit the periodicals that covered it again. We are pulling up to the order window in the McDonald's drive-thru lane, and Mom is about to lay down the Happy Meal order of all Happy Meal orders. Jay's favorite NES game ever, and one I had somehow yet to check off my bucket list. Nintendo's epic 1990 release of Super Mario Bros. 3 on the Nintendo Entertainment System. Emulation disclosure: I played on the Nestopia RetroArch Core on my PC with my NES Advantage piped in. Thank God I did not try to go OG hardware. I'd have broke my Nintendo on World 8 and still never have beaten it, so that was a good choice on my behalf. Jay, how did you play?
I played via the Nintendo Switch with the classic NES controller that you can buy for it. So.
Nintendo will be happy to hear you are a subscriber. Please rate and review the podcast. Be part of the ISOH movement. Give us validation on the podcast platform of choice, or your choice, and in the form of a rating or review, and we'll read it on the pod. What are we jamming on now? What, or rather, how much Diablo are you jamming on right now, Jay?
Considering I played for an hour this morning before we started podcasting, I was playing last night.
I went out. We were playing Divinity Sin last night, and I was like, I'm gonna check if Jay's playing. It was like maybe 10:30. I'm like, I'm gonna check. I'm just gonna switch over and check if Jay's playing Diablo right now. And it actually said you were watching Hulu, which surprised me a great deal.
I had just logged off. And surprisingly enough, I had a couple coworkers who had invited me to a party 10 minutes after I logged off. Like, hey, we need your help in Diablo. I was like, I just logged off to do other things, but otherwise I'd be down. Yeah, it's taken over for everyone. It is a freaking blast. I played all the way through Diablo 3 with Courtney, and we had a blast. That was a few years ago, obviously, and since then, outside of Elder Scrolls Online, her and I really like different kinds of games. I like shooters. I like PvP. I like, different kind of games. She likes a lot more chill games like Time of Portia, those kind of games as well. More like Animal Crossing. But when we knew 4 was coming out, we said,
is she still playing Animal Crossing?
No, not anymore. Not anymore.
Oh.
But, those kind of more relaxing type of games, she kind of likes those cozy kind of games. But Diablo 4 is a whole new game. And yeah, having a blast. I'm playing as a sorcerer, which I always have to do. I always have to start with a sorcerer because that's how I know if I like a game or not. Because I got to be able to be magical and shoot from a distance. She's playing a druid, so yeah, it's so good, man. They found a way to, in my opinion, flawlessly execute the feeling of this being both multiplayer and single player at the same time. Like whenever you go in dungeons and almost like delve type things, like it's your own instance, you and your party. But when you're in the open world, there's world events and things like that pop off, and you see other people riding around, so you can, tackle these hard things together with other people. And it's just really well done. There's level scaling, so the different areas of the map you go into it, and it kind of tells you like from this level to this level you should kind of be to go in there. So there's actual difficulty, unlike other games where you can kind of just go anywhere and smash anything depending on what your level is. And so it's just, man, if you've never played a Diablo game, this is the time to try. It's so good. It's the first game in a while that I've woken up like, yeah, I want to play that. Like, let's go play that. Look who's playing right now. And I've had multiple friends now, like, who started playing the game as well. So I'm going to be making different characters to play with them also.
I've seen a few like rating summations and stuff. It seems like the feedback is good.
Oh, dude, it's solid. It is solid. It's yeah, I don't even know what else to say about it. Everything's good. The only thing that's weird is like their prices in the shop. Like if you want to buy skins and stuff are pretty high. But with this game, it's not necessary. Like if you play Fortnite or something like that and you only have like the base skin, like you're kind of incentivized. Like, hey, go spend money, get a different look that you like. But this game, you get so many, especially if you play on veteran tier or higher, like you get quality drops. And if you salvage them, it unlocks different item looks. So you often have the ability to like change the way you look, and it's just so good, man. It's so good. I can't sing its praises enough, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I mean, it's fucking. So is there like, what's different? Like,
Then 3?
yeah.
I mean, the story is great. Like, the story has us captivated. You know, some games, it's just kind of like, whatever, let me get past the story. I just want to smash things and kill things. And obviously, the killing things is fun. But the story is really good. It's expansive. Like, the graphics are amazing. Like, even just the open world level, and every time you go into dungeon stuff, the graphics.
I mean, I haven't even
so
seen a screenshot. I don't think. How is the view?
It's 3D, like you're zoomed out, so your character's smaller. You can see the whole world around you, and so like I'm used to playing different games where you can kind of zoom into your character and see close, but you don't need to do that here because you want to be able to take everything in and see the hordes coming at you from hell and things like that.
So that's very Diablo, yeah. That was my my like, I don't know, concern, whatever, but like, you know, I think the push is to do that, to zoom in and get closer to first person, or incentivize people to embrace that kind of feature, in a world where you can move back and forth, and like, yeah, that's not in my mind what Diablo should be, but
no, they didn't. They didn't, which
opinion.
is fantastic. I kind of expected that, and I'm like, oh, they didn't do that, but it allows for, I guess, so much more detail everywhere else. Because even when you look at your character and change things, and you obviously view your character up close to do that, the graphics are amazing. Like, I love changing it. I'd never thought that would be something I cared much about. To me, it's like, yeah, I want to kill things and move on and experience the story. But yeah, it's still Diablo. Like, it's still what you think, but just advanced in a way that's still fun, that gives you what you want, but in a better way, more interesting ways, different weapon wise, and just, yeah, there's so much to it. There's so much going on, but it's not one of those overwhelming feelings like there's so much in this game, I'm not sure what to do. It's just like, yes, I want to do all the side quests. The side quests are a part of the stuff. They're a part of the story. They feel like things that I want to do, not things I just want to skip, like go pick some flowers so I can make this fucking this special drink for my loved rosary. One. Yeah, like so yeah, man, it in every way it's awesome. So if you don't mind killing the hordes of hell and going through that kind of a storyline and just the open world story, that it's for you.
So here's the real question, Jay. Is Diablo 4 good enough that you have not played any Elder Scrolls Online since we last recorded for this podcast?
Absolutely. I have not touched it. Honestly, I'm finally at the point where I'm going to stop paying for ESO Online. I'm pretty much done. Like, they have the new Necrom chapter coming out for ESO, and I know even on the raid team that I play with, there's a couple of buddies of mine who are like, yeah, I'm taking a break until the new Necrom chapter comes out because they're releasing a new class, an Arcanist. But I'm kind of over the storylines there. Like, I like the community and all that aspect, but I've done all the dungeons, all the delves, all the freaking vet trials. I'm kind of just over it. So,
that you should. There's probably got to. No, I shouldn't say there. Probably there's, of course, a way to. I mean, you have a pretty comparable. You're probably mostly playing. Yeah, is ESO cross-platform or no? You say it is. Or
no, unfortunately.
Okay, so there you go. So I mean, you already have. The community that you play with in ESO is already Xbox based, so really all you have to do, and I imagine Diablo is cross-platform anyway.
Oh, it's 100%,
yeah. So you just have to create some sort of group incentivization to mass
move those people.
mass exodus them over to Diablo. It seems like a pretty natural transition.
Yeah, I don't know. Some of those people are pretty diehard. They're like excited. People taking off work for that. I'm like, I don't know, guys. I've been playing this game for years. I'm kind of done with it. They're not adding any more new. I mean, they're adding new things, but not enough to keep me wanting to keep doing that. Right. So, I don't know. There's enough people at work and like Jesse and others, friends who want to play that game. And I'm like, I got a good community going into Diablo, so it'll be good.
Word.
I would say the only other game that I've played outside of that, because it's really just been Diablo 4 and work, Mortal Kombat 11, man, coming back for it. I
just heard someone talking about this, I think. Or maybe, is there a Street Fighter that just came out too?
Yeah, Street Fighter 6 just came out, which, funny enough, I had every intention of buying Street Fighter 6 the minute it came out. Because I was like, man, Street Fighter 5 wasn't on Xbox. With Street Fighter 6 coming out, I was super looking forward to that. But when I realized Mortal Kombat 1 was being released later, like, I don't know, over the years, Street Fighter, I was always a little more of a fan of Street Fighter than Mortal Kombat. But like as a kid, like growing up in the first generations of Mortal Kombat Street Fighter. But lately, like I've played through Mortal Kombat 9 and 10 and 11, and 11 was so good from a story perspective. It's really the stories. Like Street Fighter is just fun to fight, and Mortal Kombat is fighting good. I mean, fighting as well, but the stories are so much better. They're so much deeper and richer. And so I really just jumped back into that to kind of just like remind myself, you know, what the fighting styles and everything were in preparation of the new Mortal Kombat 1 coming up. I mean, so let me ask you this, Josh. For you, how into the Mortal Kombat series were you as a kid?
Oh, I mean, yeah, you were sitting there saying that. I was like, that would be a fun little, like, just a tangent episode, is just like to do some sort of comparison of Street Fighter 2 and Mortal Kombat, because that was, you know, that was such a thing. I mean, we've talked about that for something before. I remember we got into Mortal Kombat for some reason or another. On one of these episodes within the last God knows how long ago
probably
it was. But
probably me playing through it.
Yeah, that might have been it. Yeah, it could have just been what we're playing now thing. Either way, yeah, I mean, you know, I was a Genesis kid, and I was late to Genesis too, so like me getting a Genesis came real close to that Mortal Kombat thing happening. And yeah, I mean, I was, you know, if you fucking know me, I was the same way in a younger version as I'm now, like, you know, fuck you, I want Mortal Kombat. You know, like, give me that blood Street Fighters for bitches. Yeah, I mean, like, for kids. Yeah, so, I mean, yeah, I was all over Mortal Kombat. And yeah, I mean, I agree, like, the lore of Street Fighter is not nearly as interesting. I also don't think I embraced it as much, because, I mean, I do know, you know, there's, like, I know Guile had, like, there is some shit going on there that I don't know everything about. So, there, you know, I don't want to say it doesn't have it, but certainly the story world of Mortal Kombat just inherently lends itself to the shit I'm into. The, you know, the kind of darker and more like, I don't know, just higher stakes, I guess, really, if you look at it from just like the most basic storytelling perspective. Yep. It's higher stakes. It's about afterlife and like gods and stuff. It just has more going on than just dickheads who are good at kung fu.
Right. Instead of just like, let's go fight. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, for sure. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I was without question Mortal Kombat aligned, and I mean, I stuck with it. I owned and like knew every fucking thing about, and was incredible. I never played in the arcades because that terrified me. I've talked about that before, but at home I was very good on Genesis with it, and Jab had Street Fighter 2 also, the Championship Edition for Genesis. So we, nice. You know, we played both. But I played a lot more Mortal Kombat. And then I think 2, I didn't own it. That was just as I was kind of a little bit skewing away from fucking Fighting Genesis games? And more in N64, I think. But I do remember playing it. I remember being at a kid's house and we were playing it. And I remember the reptile shit. So yeah, I mean, I was kind of into it. But yeah, I never really got past all said and done, really got past Mortal Kombat 2 as far as like really being into it, you know.
So you didn't have you played any of the recent ones?
Any of the modern ones, no. Fighting games, I just did.
I think I ended up playing through like Mortal Kombat 3 and then maybe 4. And then there was a couple I missed, like 5, 6 in there that I just kind of missed, 5, 6, 7, just because of life. And then, yeah, I came back in 9, 10, 11. So good from a story perspective that, like, I'm excited that they're coming out with Mortal Kombat 1, even though...
Yeah, you keep saying that. What does that mean? What do you mean?
So, despite the numbering... No. Despite the numbering, it is a direct sequel to Mortal Kombat 11. It's a... Like, I don't want to spoil the story, but it does... It involves time and, like, reversing time and, like, Liu Kang... I mean, you see it in the commercials. Liu Kang becomes a god, and he's, like, the new god who gets to remake the world because of all the stuff that happened in 11. So Mortal Kombat 1 is kind of like, even though it's numbered 1, it is a sequel to everything that happened in 11. So that's why I'm like, oh, I can't wait for this to come out now. I put buying Street Fighter on the shelf. After buying Diablo, I'm like, Diablo and then Mortal Kombat. I will get the Street Fighter, but like I cannot wait for more Mortal Kombat. And so I had to jump back into 11. Obviously I played through the stories again, I said, but I really just wanted to jump into the PvP aspect and kind of like get my feet wet there again and see like, all right, when the new one comes out, like how much can I compete with the online people in terms of like actual fighting? So I kind of want to see that.
That sounds just, oh God.
Dude, it's...
Yeah, I feel like I mean, I'm sure it has some level of like fucking, you know, matching you to the right competition level, but it just sounds like, I mean, again, honestly what it's doing, it is channeling the feeling of standing on the periphery of an arcade, looking at kids playing Mortal Kombat in a cabinet and going, No, I'm not.
Yeah.
No, I'm not walking there and put my quarter on that machine. There's no way.
Yeah, I mean, the funny thing about it is that you get to kind of adjust your skills and like your loadout, so to speak, for PvP purpose. So you don't get to use every skill. You can't just throw whatever you want in there. There's limitations to kind of balance it out so that you're not really walking in OP. And so I'm interested in kind of digging into that a little more, because even when I played through 11 the first time, I didn't really do much like PvP online. Like I did a couple casual matches, but you know, that wasn't really my jam. But I kind of missed the feeling of sitting on the couch with my cousins or whoever and playing against them and going to the arcades. Because to me, the arcades was like a big part of it. Like you don't know how you're going to stack up against the people you play against. So it's kind of like, hey, let's see how that goes. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, it's you know, it's you say that, and it's, I mean, I like I said, I clocked that Street Fighter 2, people tweeting it about or something, and like, yeah, I mean, I feel like it has to have changed and evolved so much. Like, I feel like if I sat down and looked at it, I wouldn't even know what I'm looking at. I feel like it's like you mentioned the whatever changing stats or something for multiplayer. Like, I feel like just the whole system of it. Or I wonder, I guess, what the whole system of it has to have become, because I feel like it can't be the simplicity of what it was in 1993. Like, I feel like the fighting genre, I mean, I'm talking about like the way fighting games are carried out. Like, it's been so long since I played one that I really don't know. And I feel like it has to have evolved. It can't, and that's part of why I haven't engaged in any of it, even for like just fuck around purposes, is because I like that sounds so boring. You know, like the image I have in my mind of a 1993 fighting game, like it just does nothing for me sitting here today, you know. Right. So, but I'm sure that there has been modernizations and changes and whatever that, you know, whatever's make it more interesting. So that's interesting to hear that there is some, you know.
Yeah, they definitely found a way to keep that basic, it's a fighting game spirit with also updating and modernizing some things that really make you like stick with it, you know.
I mean, do they even, I feel like also, because, you know, the whole thing with Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter 2 of the time, like, you know, remembering those fucking moves, and it's like, I feel like that can't possibly be, like, they can't possibly ask me on an Xbox controller to, like, fucking hold A and fucking swing back from bottom to left and then hit C, or I feel like it can't be like that anymore.
It feels like I don't really have trouble hitting the move combinations. Like they're like it. But it doesn't
what
really
I'm saying is, I feel like they can't even have those anymore.
No,
it still
has. Like, you still have button combinations you got to hit to do stuff for sure. But it's not like there was definitely a point where some of them were getting complex, you know, and you're like, oh man, it's not like that. They even have, and I know Street Fighter implemented a system where it's even simpler. Like you have like basic. I'm going to get the classifications wrong, so somebody can call me on it. But they have like classic controls, then they have like modern controls, and then there's like an in between, so that you can definitely, they've made sure to make it inclusive for everybody, so you can kind of jump in if you're used to like everything classic, you know, every kind of button combination you come up with. A more limited system where like you only use a few of the buttons and like they're simpler combinations. And it's they found a way to kind of cut through that, so you can play it any way you want. It's pretty great. Word. Okay. Yeah. But that's it, man. That has been my gaming so far. Diablo, Mortal Kombat 11. What else is there?
There's some shit. There's a few things. I've played a few things that are not either of those titles. So.
All right. Do tell.
I finished Moss Book 2. I think I just downloaded and started fucking with it last time. So I finished that. And it's a gorgeous video game, dude. Like, it's some of the best. And I played the demo of that first one. And I kind of felt, I think I might have mentioned, you know, it's one of those, you just hit the button and you do various, it's kind of Witcher 3 in that regard. You just like hit the button and like that turns into different sword combinations, you know. So it's just kind of a little bit of a whacker as far as the actual battle mechanics of it. So I thought it was a little overly simplistic when I was first playing it. So I was surprised to find this to be true. But I think the boss battles are some of the, like a top 5 boss battle game of all time, like that I've ever played. Like, they are so well done and, I don't know, interesting. The mechanics are all so different and so well implemented and felt so good too. Sometimes when things get like interesting and complicated, you know, it doesn't feel good. And they found a way to merge those two things great. So yeah, the boss battles are fucking incredible. It's absolutely beautiful. Pretty good puzzles, I would say. There's some pretty good completionist shit that I really enjoyed. Like I finished the game and there was a handful of scroll. There's like 48 of them, 8 per stage. 6 times 8, I think. So 6 stages, 8 in each one. Is that 8? 9. That's 9 times 8, right? Why can't I do math right now?
9 times 8 is 72.
Right. So 8 so 6 times 8, yeah. Anyways, you get these things and they're like, they make up these beautiful glass stained windows in kind of the main, I don't want to say it's a hub because it's not like it's not that simple, but it's like the main castle that you pass through a reasonable amount has these beautiful glass stained windows, and you get these little things that fill out and replicate like a little model version of those, and it's just really cool way to do completionist bullshit. But there's also this dust shit that you just get from like random vases that you smash and shit, and there's 350 of these in the fucking game. So you get it from everywhere, and I'm still missing 6 of these fucking things. So I went back in and like I spent like a whole day trying, and like you can't even, I've talked about it before, you can't, these games, one of the really interesting things about VR gaming right now, at least with the Quest, I don't know if this is applicable to the more, I'm sure it's not, but with the Quest games, there's just not as much shit out there. There's not a million walkthroughs and a million FAQs and a million videos. There's only a handful. So like, I'm like, I got like a video of a French guy doing a full playthrough, going on my phone, and I'm like, it's not all encompassing, and he's just like kind of showing you where some of the stuff is, and I'm like, I spent all day and I'm still missing fucking 2 of these things, dude. It was hilarious, man. It was hilarious how frustrated I was. I was like, God damn it, I'm like searching everywhere and there's just no solution. It's so counterintuitive to how modern everything works, that just every answer is available to you at all times, So it's just so funny to me that, I don't know, it's because it's kind of replicating that
it's like 1990 gaming.
Yeah, it's like that 1990 feeling of like, I don't know the answer, man.
Sorry, figure it out.
Yeah, so I haven't deleted up my system because I keep telling myself I'm gonna go back in and find those 2, and it's like that's so pathetic that I have any incentivization to do that. But it is a beautiful world, and being in there at all is fun and good. And yeah, and it does. The last level, man, is like, plays with gravity and shit, and it's so good, dude. It's such a good, beautiful game. Worth the 30 if you pay full price. Like I said, I got it for 18, so I mean that was a fucking deal and a half.
Nice.
Playing that, and then Divinity Sin 2.
Your favorite game?
I hate this game, dude. I hate this game. It's so fucking broken. Last night we played. Yeah, we were playing it last night. I mean, I've been saying it's like, it's not like broken, but it's like UI things don't always go right. It's not good and clean at all. I fucking hate it. I mentioned, the first one had problems too. It broke ever so long ago, and that's why we had to restart it. So like that had its problems too. I didn't feel, as we were playing through the second time, as strongly about it being broken. But this one, super broke, pissed off all the time. Last night, I'm pretty sure we were in the final boss battle last night, and it fucking, like, this long thing, you kill a couple things, and then some other thing comes, get through all that. It made us get rid of our companion characters, so it's just me and Amy, and she dies. I have this thing down to like, all its armor's off, a third of life maybe. I have about a half life bar. And the way things are going, I could probably take this thing out in another turn or 2, and I'm pretty sure I can last on my own end, So I'm about to beat the game. And I've been wanting this fucking game out of my life. I keep talking about it. Like, I hate playing it. That's not describing. Like, I'm hate playing it. Like, the act of hate playing something. Not I hate playing it, although I do hate playing it. Anyways, so I'm that close to beating this fucking thing and having it on my life. And the character I'm playing as this undead character, and he's got this, like, one of his core base skills you get at the very beginning of the game is he can play dead, and it's actually pretty cool. You just like flop down and like you're playing dead, but you don't leave. You're not out of the battle when you do that at any point. I've used this thing a million times. You're not out of the battle. You're still in the battle. And when you're in a battle in the game, it slows down time, or it turns things into like incremental little time increments. So when you get out of battles and time speeds back up, your armor will replenish on its own eventually, although rather quickly once you're out of that time change, and health too a little bit maybe. Either way, I played dead last night in this thing, and the guy like...
That seems like a bad idea.
It shouldn't be. It's never gotten me out of battle before.
Oh, no.
I play dead to like, because the thing is when you play dead, they don't attack you, you know, so right. they think you're dead. So like, it's like going to buy me a turn where I'm not going to get hit, and it's a defensive maneuver. But I play dead, the guy relaxes, this big thing relaxes, and then his armor and life both just shoot back up. And then the battle restarts once like, because you know the play dead thing is like a timed thing if you're not in battle as opposed to turns. So like, you know, I play dead, he relaxes, a second or two goes by, all his shit flies back up, my armor goes up but not my life, and then the battle starts back up, and it's just like I start back again anew with him, and like I was furious, dude.
I'm surprised your Xbox is not destroyed right now.
Oh, dude, I was furious. I'm never playing that game again. I'm not going to play Baldur's Gate 3 when this dickhead company releases it later this year. And I was all charged up to do that. Like, fuck this game. It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. I don't know. I mean, I know it's an indie studio, and I mean, I think 2 came out in like 14 or something, 15, something like that. So, you know, I understand they've probably progressed a little bit as far as QCing goes and fucking making a good game, but fuck, it's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. And I just don't understand how it can be so much worse than the first one.
Wow. You know, we must not have finished it all the way, because I definitely don't remember. Yeah, I didn't have this strong of an experience, negative experience.
You know, and like this, what's kept me in it too is the story. And it, you know, the way the story works at the end, like, you know, I bitched about it, but like the way... We've kind of seen it coming for a while, so I'm not going to say it like blindsides you, but the way the end of the game goes is pretty unique and interesting relative to what... It's a good turn. It's a good narrative turn, you know? So you know, the storytelling was fucking good, man. It just... Playing the game was just an unpleasant experience. Almost at all times. So I was like, I spent the entire experience unhappy, but hooked into the story and playing anyway. Fucking terrible. But fuck that game. So that's good. So I need a new game, so maybe I will get Diablo. I don't know.
Dude, you should.
I'm certainly not gonna play for Game Pass, so it doesn't really matter.
It's not on Game Pass, so it doesn't matter.
Well, I mean, I got to play multiplayer, then I have to sign up for something, right?
Yes. You can talk to me about that, but you need to get it so we can play. You need multiplayer in your life so you can play, Josh, because I am not coming off of this. You need to get on. Jesse just got on. He just bought it for PC, so he's going to be jumping on. I'm going to start a new character to play with him as well, so get in there, man. Now's the time.
That sounds like something PC might be more appealing to me. Whatever. So the other thing, a big thing I found, so Legend of Doom, we talked about this when we were playing the side quest, dude, but like I just stumbled across this. So I was playing, you know, I told you I've been dabbling with the Duke Nukems, the Quakes, the Doom 2s and all those on this side quest like companion app. It's like a developer companion app thing in the Quest. It's an app you can download, and there's this Questy Doom thing that lets you play all the Doom games. So there's all these mods and shit. And I'm just going through and like, it's a cool ass menu system for like applying the mods. Different, you know, within like a Doom 2, there's just like weapon pack mods. There's all sorts of shit you can do. And it's all just in there. So like, you don't have to like know about it and go seek it out and download it. It's just all there, you know, as long as you have the game installed, the base game. So I'm in there fucking around and I see this. It's just at the bottom of one of the lists for like the Doom 2 mods, Legend of Doom. And I'm like, oh my God, like, that's Zelda, you know? And I didn't even make the connection. I'm sure you saw it too. It was like when it first hit a while back, it was like a whole thing that you could play Legend of Zelda in VR, you know? I remember seeing news stories and stuff. But like, whatever. I assumed it was on, you know, I assumed I couldn't get it on the Quest, basically. So I see it, I didn't make a connection, that's what it was. But I'm like, oh, well, fuck, I gotta try that. So I fired up, downloaded it, and it is just, it is a 1-for-1 perfect VR iteration of the original Legend of Zelda, soup to nuts, everything, every single aspect of the original 8-bit Legend of Zelda is there, and it's in 3D, and it's in VR, and you're walking around, and it's just, oh my God, it is good, dude. I couldn't put it down. I could not put it down. Like, it took me like 48 hours probably. I played it nonstop. We had a fucking side quest, and I was like almost to the end, and I was like, all I can think about is getting off this fucking recording and finishing Legend of Zelda. It was so good. And like, I mean, I mentioned this in the side quest episode too, but like, I just can't believe Nintendo didn't see this. Like, whatever, if you're like, you know, they're so protective about their IPs and stuff, and they're like, we're not going to do anything unless we can do it right from the ground up. Like, I hear all that, and that is, you know, it's why those games are so good and so revered, is because they care about them and they protect them. But you can't tell me no one over there has seen this. And they had, I mean, once you see it and see it in action, how can you not go, fuck, how are we not doing this? This has to happen. We have to be doing this. To not just call the guy immediately and be like, okay, good job. We're going to sue you probably because we sue everyone for everything. But good job. Let's talk about bringing this in here, and we'll put our polish on it. We'll do whatever we have to do to make this ours and make us feel good about it. And then, it's another system too. So that's
because to do that, they'd have to be okay with having their game on another system, which they just are not. If they could expand that mind,
yeah, exactly. But that's exactly. Yeah, they will die eventually. If I don't give a shit how good those core games are, they will eventually die with that mentality. They have to embrace this and everything, or they're idiots. But that's just a furthering of the idea. Yeah, but it was fucking an amazing experience. Like, there were a few weird things, but again, like, all this shit can be fixed if just you don't have some one guy doing it alone. You know, they're just like little tiny weird things UI wise that he's just probably couldn't figure out or something. But I mean, like, yeah, you go into the dungeons and like those first rooms you walk in, and like all the statues are there, and like, you know, they're just crude four pieces of the sprite on a block, you know, like same thing with, not actually a little different than the Resident Evil problem, but it's same concept, basically just a 3D solution for a flat sprite problem, you know.
Right.
But so, you know, that stuff's there, but even like, it does not kill the immersion at all. And like, I just couldn't believe how, you know, the boss battles, you walk into those rooms and like, just seeing that world that has been ingrained in our minds in a certain way for 30-something years in a VR space and have it all physically there in front of you to interact with. Oh my God, dude. It was so good. It was such an incredible, I was so sad when it ended.
So you actually beat it?
Oh yeah, dude.
I've never even beat Zelda, so like I wouldn't even.
That's the way to do it, dude. It's so good, dude. There's a couple like and I don't know. I want to know. They got to be intentional. He's got to know the shit's there. These like main parts of the game. But like there were like the secrets are weird. You know, that game is full of like bombing. And like it's probably a conscious decision. Like the kind of just random bombing of walls and the random burning of bushes and stuff. That's like a joke in the LOZ vernacular, you know.
Yeah.
And I get modernizing and like modern players don't want that just fence testing shit, and that's probably a deliberate choice. But it is a little weird to me, like when you're in a dungeon. And like, you know, it's on the Doom engine too, so that's really interesting because it's like it uses the Doom mapping UI and feature to map the dungeons and the overworld as you play, you know. So it's just, you can have the map up, and like that's an amazing modernization thing too, to be going through the dungeon instead of having to look at like this shitty little map in the corner. You like pulling up a real map that you can move on real time and you see your guy and shit, you know. But
nice.
You can see the walls that you should bomb on the overworld and in dungeons before you bomb them. And I think it defeats the purpose to some degree. I don't know. It didn't, I still had a blast and couldn't put it down, but like, I don't know. It felt a little lame to me because, you know, part of it is resource management. And he tweaked that too. You get like, you start with more bombs than you could start in the original thing.
Okay. Nice.
And then when you get the bomb, when you buy the bomb increases from there's a couple of old men in dungeons that you can buy bomb inventory max increase, like a bomb bag basically, to increase that. And like those numbers go away. It went in the original game, it went 8, 12, 16. You start with like fucking, I don't know, 16 or something to begin with, and like the expansions take it up to, I don't even know. I didn't even get the second one because who the fuck needs that many bombs, you know? Especially when you know where all the walls are. But that's the whole thing. Like that inventory resource management is a lot of what makes Legend of Zelda, the original, a little difficult because you can't just bomb every wall. And the later dungeons, you need to bomb walls to even advance in the dungeon at all. It's not even for secrets and benefits and stuff. It's like part of the regular progression is bombing, you know? So like going in, coming out, going out and getting more bombs. And like, that's a little bit of the game that this takes away. But again, that's kind of just run around and I get taken that out of modern
Maybe that's
games.
quality of life improvement. You know?
Yeah.
That's what I'll file that under.
For sure. Yeah. It was just, so good. So, such an incredible experience. I can't believe I just stumbled on it. I think I saw in there, I got to check it out too. I think there's a Castlevania one in there too. And that, I mean, I don't know. Again, like trying to like, you know, opening that up for the first time, I'm like, how are they even going to do this? How is it going to feel and be good, you know? But just, it's so good. And like, you know, Doom, like your swords are, you're no longer on those just axes, of course, you know, you're in a 3D space. So like your sword shooting and shit, you can like use the pointer and shoot at shit in the sky. You know, it feels like a comfy old blanket, but a brand new one, you know, it's just so good. So good. So
fascinating indeed.
Yeah. Okay. I would love to see it built on like the Quake engine instead, because Doom has limitations, doesn't have a Z-axis, you know, so like as far as your actual movement goes, I mean, like I said, you can fire up and stuff, but I would just love to see more of these and on slightly more modern 3D engines, you know, that give you a little more. That's like that, yeah, like so you played it enough to know. So those in the dungeons where you get the items, you know, on NES, it's just like those two white ladders and you go down into the black room and then have to go up again to where the thing is, and they would put a few bats in there that can move through the walls and stuff. So like the first time I go into one of these, I'm like, what are they going to do? Like it's going to like that. What is the representation they're going to use in a 3D space of that? Because that, I don't know, that I've never been able to visualize what that was supposed to be in a real 3D space, you know? Yeah. And you go in and it's like this fucking long stairwell down, and then you have to come back up this stairwell and you go into this huge room and it's just full of bats in there. And that was just a perfect example of like, it finally painted a real picture in my mind of something that for 30 plus years was just an abstract video game concept. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And just so many things like that. Like going into the caves where the things you buy are and the guys that give you the jewels and stuff, you know, just so fucking cool. You go down there and the guy's sitting there and fucking, you know, you have to walk up to him. He's got the flames on each side of him. It just all just so much richer of an experience, you know, of a story world that everyone already reveres, you know. So seeing it and experiencing it that way, so much better. Dude. So fucking good. Another thing after I finished Moss, I downloaded this game called A Night in the Attic. And this is a really cool game. It's $10 on the store, so amazing value. Very small developer studio. What the fuck was it called? Key? Doesn't matter, whatever. Small studio. And so it's like, do you remember those Labyrinth marble games? It had the two dials. It's like a little wooden board, and it has two dials on each side of it, and you would have a little steel ball that by turning the dials and tilting. Yeah, so those. So it's that mechanic, and like this is a perfect example of like I've talked about how like VR like will give you things you didn't even know you could possibly want, and like so it takes that idea, and it puts what looks like a semi-normal, it's a little bit kind of, you know, it's not perfectly contoured and everything. It's a little bit of rigidity, game board feel to it. Mm-hmm. But, trees, it's like overworld, like, you know, a beautiful forest you're going through. And you have this little character, it's Guinevere. So it's the Lancelot, Guinevere, a knight round table story world. Mm-hmm. And you're playing Guinevere. And she is essentially the marble. And you have to use... And it's like, you know, it's haptic. So you're not turning dials. You're like tilting your controllers and hands. And you can use the sticks to do it like more incrementally if you want to do like a real fine precision turn or move. To turn the whole board to move her on it. So you're not moving her. You're moving the board. And gravity just moves her. You know what I mean? So it's so different. I've never played anything like it. It's just so different.
It sounds very odd. I'm struggling to picture it. Like I'm picturing
and honestly, you know, like, yeah, I mean, all the reviews for it say they're like, you pick it up and you're like, there's no way this is going to work. You know, it's almost like the first time you played putt-putt. Like, no way the physics can be this good, that it can feel this good, that it can feel right, you know. Right. It's just too precise and whatever. But it's great. It feels great. It feels fucking awesome. And yeah, there's a pretty decent story with it. It's got a little bit of a female empowerment thing. Like Guinevere is actually the hero. Lancelot's kind of like this dumb dickhead that's kind of just in the way of most of your stuff that you're trying to accomplish, you know. So the story world's kind of fun. But yeah, it's very cute. Very, very fucking just really adorable story world, and the actual mechanics of it are fucking a blast. So 100% gonna finish that. And you got to use so it's got that going on, but you also have like tools that you get. So like one of the main progression things is you have to find these lightning bugs, and then you have this jar that you find them on the board, and they fly up into the actual space. Like you're playing in your grandma's attic. Like you're a player in your grandma's attic playing with this thing. So you're in an attic, and like the thing the lightning bug flies up off the board, and you have to grab the jar over sitting on the little table in front of you, and like catch the lightning bug with this jar. And like you stockpile them in there, and you have to get a certain number of lightning bugs to open doors and yada yada. So there's that. There's all these like you find a little windmill, and then there's a little crank, and you have to attach those together, and then you like set the board down, and like you have to like use the crank to solve puzzles that require wind to be created to like turn a turbine on the thing and move a wall or move a raft or whatever it is. And there's like a water tool, like a water pitcher, where like there's these fountains, and you have to like tilt the whole board on its side and like pour water into this pitcher so you have water, and then take your character somewhere else on the map, and then pour the water like either into a pond so the water level rises and a platform can get to something. So like it's just a really fucking interesting. Just like I said, I've just never seen anything like it. It's just fucking really, really cool. So that's probably the big story game, if you want to call it big. I'm playing. Nice. And the last thing is Journey to the Center of the Earth Walkabout Mini Golf Course dropped. And yeah, very cool environment. I've never read the book or watched the movies. So other than what the title suggests, I had no idea what the story world would entail, you know? So that was, just cool to experience something new. And yeah, I mean, it's absolutely beautiful, dude. There is the end area. It's huge, man. These new ones they're making are they're making them feel so big, you know. There's like you go into this fucking cavern with this, it's like open ocean, which I don't know the story world. I don't know how this is in the Earth. I don't see how that's possible, but whatever.
There's a couple of movies out there you can watch. Pretty fun. Brendan Fraser has one. The Rock has one. They're fun to check out.
Whatever the case. So yeah, the end of it is just absolutely beautiful, and it's so expansive. And I mentioned it to you in the chat, I think, or when we were playing Super Mario 3, dude. So you're underground and it's dark, you know. So the hard course implements a headlamp. So you're like, I don't know, it just ups it makes it, I don't know, it makes you feel more in the space, I guess, because your avatar is now affecting the space. You're not just this ethereal being with a putter walking around, you know. So it makes it feel better, I think, and a really interesting, cool mechanic that was a fun idea. And the putter has a flashlight on it, so
nice, you know, as expected.
Yeah. So yeah, it's very, very cool, as they all are. I'm fucking $3.99. I can't believe they only charge $3.99. I gotta stop saying that.
That's good, because they any more than I'm like, if it was like $10, I'm like, I don't know how many courses I'm buying, but $3.99, I'm like, all right, I'll pick it up. You know, good, sweet price point.
This one's definitely worth it. And so I posted a picture of I go to my dispatch shack the day before, just to, again, I'm, a new course dropping. It's like any other game. It's like you with Mortal Kombat. I'm going to play a little bit of it before just to get so I'm up to speed when I play the new one. And I go in there and I take a picture. I notice a gap on the putter lineup on my thing, So I post that, and I'm like, I thought it was them making room for the new putter for the new course. And I talked some shit to him, and I was actually badgering with him a little bit on the Facebook page, Walkabout's account. And someone on our Instagram points out, like, that is not for Journey to the Center of the Earth, dude. That's the Mist course has 3 putters in it, and I did not know that. I only have the one, like every other course. So apparently there's 2 more putters. And I don't know, do you remember when we were playing that course? There's that ship in the... I haven't looked it up yet, so I don't know. This is like part of my weekend to do is figuring out these putters. But remember that ship in the like fountain or in like the little square in the middle of the course? I said you can raise and lower the ship, and it makes the ship at the dock also raise and lower. And I was like, that's gotta. There's just no way that's just like an empty mechanic. There's got it. So it's my guess is it has something to do with that. And there's another one, and I'm guessing it's maybe that ball that I showed you back by the pillars. Remember, there's that ball back there, and I was like, I don't know what the fuck this is either. You know, so I don't know. I just can't. You know, it's such a otherwise rigid like system as far as like you do the 12 fucking clues and then you get the putter. Like what I don't. I'm just so blown away that like there's some aspect of the game
hidden secrets
that I just have
you never
no
even
clue.
knew. The superfan Josh is like at a loss, ladies and gentlemen.
And it's so cool that it's the Myst course. That makes sense because Myst is such a. I told you when we were playing, like that game is such a mind fuck, you know. So really, really cool to me. So
might have to jump back into that. Might have to jump back in myself, dude. You talking reminded me. Since it's been a while since we recorded our last side quest, there's another game I played that I completely never talked about. Did we talk about Minecraft Legends? Like, have we talked about that, dude? So
Legends, I don't know. We did talk about Minecraft semi-recently.
Right, but Legends, dude, I
don't know if it was Legends.
Yeah, so Legends came out a couple months ago, and it's like the problem, and I hesitate to even bring it up because I'm like, I don't know how to describe it. I feel like that's the main problem. It's like a real-time strategy game combined with like a castle tower defense type of game. And it's accessible in that like I play it with my 8-year-old. You know what I mean? It's like, it seems like that's like the sweet spot because me and him can go. It's like very different from every Minecraft game. You're not like it's in the Minecraft world, all of that, like scenery and everything.
So do you know Rampart?
Rampart? No, I've heard that name, but I don't know.
It was a really good SNES game actually, like one of the early SNES titles that was really good. My boy AGV had that when we were in high school. It sounds like that's a tower defense game that's really fucking cool. And you like in between you build your castle to start. And you put cannons, and they have to be inside your castle walls. And it's just a top-down view, like very basic, almost board game, like risky kind of. And then, so you play a turn, it goes live for like 30 to 45 seconds, and whether it's another player or a computer, you just like bomb each other's shit and like blow up their walls. And then you get like in between the next round of battle, you get like a timed amount of time and a certain number of like how much shit you blow up fuels how many like castle building tiles you get to then repair and expand your castle to get more cannons to attack more in the next round, you know. So it's really, really fun, addictive mechanic. And is that kind of the idea?
It's kind of, but it's a little different. I will say I haven't done the PvP part. I know there's like a PvP part, which sounds a little more like that, where you'd kind of, you know, build up your castle kind of thing. But in this one, like in the main adventure mode, I guess, there's an open map world and there's these different towns and things of Minecraft characters that you go, and like the piglins are the bad guys. So like there's this whole story behind them and they're invading towns and creating their own strongholds. And you basically have to go to these towns and really like defend them. And like, it's hard to explain, but like you have these followers that you create. There's like, they're music notes. They're based off of music. So like they're tunes you create, but they're followers. It's weird. That's to me, that's the central problem is describing it. But at any rate, you have these followers that you use to help defend these towns, and you're building walls and like things to help defend them and fighting the bad guys. And then at night, so it's definitely time based. So like you do a tower, you get like rewards. You can like upgrading the things that you can build with and defend with, and you still have to go gather resources like you would in Minecraft to help do those things. But then it'll tell you like, hey, the piglins are gathering their attack, be ready to like, help defend this stronghold way out west. So you're like, all right, I gotta like a certain amount of time to get there and get things going and be ready for the defense. And it's a lot of fun. It combines aspects of Minecraft with that real-time strategy with like a whole musical aspect to it. It really just combines various different things. And I'm fascinated about the PvP part because it sounds like what you were talking about. But to me, that's such a fun game to play with my son that I don't know that I want to play it like PvP kind of by myself type of thing. But it's a fun game. Like if you want like a less, I don't know. Again, it's hard to describe. But if you like those kind of games,
sometimes the best thing is like I said with the fucking Night in the Attic thing. It's like
weird.
I can tell you what that game is. Yeah. No, yeah, I've said before in Minecraft, I know it would be just a fucking right off. So
yeah,
not a good plan. Word? Okay. Well, the only thing I have is the Quest 3 getting announced, and it's $4.99 with target drop of this fall, and I'm, of course, fucking in. Probably goes without saying, but I feel like they're definitely lying to me about it being released in the fall. There's just no way that their first like initial announcement prediction is going to come true. So that's unfortunate, but $4.99 is pretty fucking fair, I think. Yeah, compared to obviously the big news story is the Apple one being announced for $3,500.
No chance. Are you kidding me? No, thank you.
It does look amazing. I mean, if I got one for
what?
free,
what do you use it for? Yeah, if you got it for free, but
it's like I think it's more. It's their goal with it is that it's like an AR tool. Like that, you literally just live your life with it on your head when you're at home, and you do everything through the viewfinder, basically.
Pass.
I mean, some of that AR shit for even the Quest, with its rudimentary, goes black and white when you do it and shit. But like some of that stuff it is fascinating. Like there's that. I don't know if I mentioned it, but there's a Rube Goldberg. I think I talked about this last time. There's a Rube Goldberg machine app that it's AR based. So the idea is you build the thing in your actual space, and then you just use these tools to build these things kind of through and on top of your actual real world space. And like that kind of idea is really interesting for sure. Obviously it's not even vaguely appealing to do it in black and white, like the Quest currently limits you to. But Quest 3 is gonna have full color pass through too. So the AR stuff does interest me. I mean, I'm not gonna pay $3,500 to try it out, but it's Apple. I'm sure it'll feel like a whole new level of good. But that's too expensive for sure.
That is the Music Box theme, bringing us into World 5, beginning our Mario 3 playthrough, or resuming, rather, our Mario 3 playthrough.
Resuming, indeed. The manual description reads, Skyland has many difficult sections. Raccoon Mario's flying ability is bound to help him here, and then the strategy guide calls it Skyworld. So this is that's a small difference, but there are bigger ones that I noticed. This will come back up a little more prominently when we discuss end credits. I find this very interesting, but I'll just drop that seed here right now. But the art in the strategy guide has a stressed-out Raccoon Mario adorned with a P-Wing on his chest, soaring through the clouds as a Fire Chomp and a couple of Parabeetles give chase. I see some more Tanuki opportunities in the item key there, or data box, whatever, and the White Shroom deal is 28 coins and level 5-5. So we get started on 5-1, and it is Chain Chomp Central. And it asks you to climb up and back down on this Rector set-esque structure. My first time through pre-strategy guide console, I could tell there was something I was missing. There's like a lot of action that suggests there's shit to do beneath the structure, but Chain Chomps guard all potential entry points, and I wasn't giving up my Tanuki suit to try those out. So I look at the strategy guide after the fact, and there's another one. This is another one of those get a star all the way through levels that I just did not know enough about to really embrace and enjoy on my first playthrough here towards the back end of the game.
I feel like there's a lot of that in this game where you can play the game, you can play the levels to get through it, survive, move on. But if you kind of know the ideal way to make it through that level, you can come back through and have a lot more fun. Yeah. So 5-2 is a cool start where you're dropped out of a pipe from the jump and are falling to some music block notes that give you the option of going up to what I would call an easier above ground route, or falling down a coin pickup path that leads to a much tougher subterranean deal with the ice block chucking beetles. There's a Tanuki opportunity in the Toad House after that, then into a pipe beneath the river to get to a fork in the road where you can do 5-3 or a fortress. And anyone knows what's what, which I did not, chooses 5-3 because it's your first Kuribu Shoe opportunity. Yeah. The stage works from right to left, first time in the game for that. So there's just so many times where, it'll give you something and you're just like, holy shit, I didn't expect that this game was going to do that, and this is another one of those.
Now we're moving right to left instead of left to right. And it's all, and it's amazing to me too that they will give you these things and do not bring them back. You know what I mean? Like, it's just one thing, there's one time, and like, if a fucking game developer usually takes the time to come up with a whole system of something, they're gonna get a little more out of it to I don't know, lazy is not the right word, but just, make it more efficient, get the goddamn game done. So like, they're just so, there's so many times in the game where they just invent something to fuck with it once or twice, and then, change shit up on you, and then you never see it again. That's I don't know. That's to be commended, I think, that there's that much level of effort to put into this.
Yeah, I mean, for the shoe is fun. It's very limited levels that you're going to use it on, but it's very useful on those levels for sure, though.
Yep.
Like, you want to have it.
Yep. Yeah, so the Goombas are in control of them. You have to pop them from beneath as they land on a brick, and then the Goomba flies out, leaving the shoe behind for you to commandeer. And it's green and has a little wind-up key on the side, and your head barely sticks up out of it. Super cute. And you can jump on just about anything with them. The Spinies, the small Venus flytraps, which is really where it's key for this level. And it takes bombs out without them exploding, too. That's nice. Oodles of fun. It goes away when you finish the stage, though. You can't take it with you, unfortunately. Sad emojis abound on that. But obviously it would be game-breaking, I think, to be able to do it otherwise. So.
Absolutely.
Makes sense. The fortress is same-o, mildly interesting new thing with combining thwomps being above platforms with the spinny disco balls circling beneath them. So you're timing like both those things, But otherwise, it's a pretty straightforward fortress. And then you get a bridge over the river back to the beginning appearing after beating it. So I don't know, that like these are basically just quality of life improvements, There's so like they don't. It's like all the the pipes and stuff in 7. It's just, I don't know. I was surprised at how little purpose they really like all these things really had that they would introduce or bring into the world map. They're just literally like I said, I think they're more about the 2-player deal, And yes, if someone dies, we don't have to replay a level. It's just quality of life stuff, which is somewhat unexpected, I guess. The Sky Tower comes next, and you're climbing here, as the sprite would suggest. There are 2 levels of thwomps and disco balls. Then we pop outside for some Merlins and Krenels action, if you want to throw back to our Mario 2 episode. And then you're back in for another couple levels before you're back outside to climb a blue vine up into the clouds for the back half of this world. And I love that once you get up there onto the map, the upper part of the map, you can see the first half down below in the background,
Yeah.
Which is a really nice touch. Good visual touch. So 5-4 is up in the clouds, and you can basically skip over this entire shit if you get your fly on, and I did just that, so I didn't really fuck with that too much. 5-5 is all dreaded donut lifts, as the strategy guide terms it, so you have to keep it moving before those babies fall out from beneath you. And there is an early pipe to a secret area with a giant block coveting a Tanuki suit. And something about seeing one as a pickup in stage, and that's the first time you see that, is very weird and foreign to me. It's there's only one instance of it too, but there's a Hammer Brother one later on too. And just seeing it, I don't know, it's just weird. This looks weird and different, to be like the little. I don't know, something about it's weird. I can't really put my finger on what it is, but.
You're just used to being a special thing in like a Toad House or something instead of just out in the wild.
Yeah. So if you take that route, you get the bonus plan of being able to skip most of the stage. Yes, please on that. Like I mentioned, we were playing like worlds 5 and 6. Like I'm fine without them. Like I don't need to play either one of these fucking things.
I like the view of World 5. Like I like the scenery, the whole cloud thing. But I'm done with it.
The aesthetic is good, but yeah, the actual fucking whatever is not all that fun. So yeah, I finished this damn thing, and I take a look at the strategy guide, and I'm like, I'd forgotten that this was the right shroom stage, and like after playing that level, I was like, no, I'm not doing that donut shit I don't give a shit what's in that house. Just no way, man. It's always like it's I'm surprised I didn't think of it because in so many cases, a third into the level, and it's just like you can just tell by how difficult and fucked the environment is. That, this is probably the goddamn White Mushroom House stage because, like, there's going to be, like, fewer coins. They're going to be in dumb places, Mm-hmm. And, yeah, this is a perfect example of that. So 5-6 is a really cool premise. It's an auto scroll where you're required to navigate by way of jumping on and off the backs of the parabeetles flying, and those are the little red-shelled dudes with wings. So that is not easy, of course. And we see our first fire chomps here too, which are the flying chain chomps.
Yeah.
With and like their actual chain is a little fire
flame.
balls.
Yeah.
So, yeah, really dope sprite. Like those a lot. 5-7 is one of the invincibility star extravaganzas. If you use one from your inventory and start the stage with that condition, so like that's again, just another example. Like you have to start the stage with the star already, so it's like a heightened version of like you have to know what's what to really embrace this. But if you do that, it's a fucking blast, So. Then we get our second fortress, and I love the lava zone look to this joint. There's like bubbling lava down below. All the pipes are orange, and that it's got that cool neoplastism style background thing going on. And don't worry, Lord Disciples, I'm not actually enough of a twat or an art history savant to have any clue what that means. I had to do some Googling to land on that correct art style phrasing, but that's what it should be called. Neoplastism. Plasticism.
Interesting.
So Google that word if you want a fun fucking bit of learning. Anyhow, I appreciate this was a straight shot fortress, no door maze bullshit. The whole thing spans stretches of bridges over lava, and you have fireballs popping out of both that lava below and the ceiling. So you're dealing with both directions of lava or fireballs, So that's, again, only time in the game, whole new mechanic.
Yep. But they gotta, they gotta switch it up from time to time. I do appreciate that, where even though it's different from other games, to your point, where you just see like a mechanic.
I'm not saying it's a negative at all.
It's nice to switch it up, yeah.
Oh, for sure, yeah. I'm saying it to its credit, 100%. There's not a drip of negativity in that. It's just it's not like it's never. It's even further good game design. It's never like the first second you have to interact with it, you might be a little like taken aback and it catches you slipping. But generally speaking, it's immediately intuitive. Usually, you can gauge, adjust, they introduce it slowly or in some way, shape, or form that intelligently allows you to register it, formulate a plan, and adjust the way you're going to play the game for this new mechanic. So yeah, it's not like they're just, dumping dumb shit on you left and right and you fucking have to figure it out and it's a huge problem. But it is, I think it's good game design, yeah. So I noticed some interesting shit while popping bottles of models in the Boom Boom room in my Tanuki drip. So I hauled ass in here and off the pipe, so I'm like flying before I get to the middle of the room. And I don't know if this is something maybe, I don't know. Tell me if this is something you already knew, I guess, is really the simplest way to put it. But if you're flying when you come in here, when you go into the Boom Boom room, you can't advance past the middle of the room. Like while your P-wing is full and you're in flight. So you'll just fly up to the ceiling, and until your P-meter drops back down and you hit the ground, he won't aggro. So you can't cheese it, basically. You can't fly in there and just stay in the air and keep bopping him, So I discovered that by accident. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, that's good. They gotta put some checks and balances in place. Otherwise, you can.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, especially for these. Yeah, because these boom boom fights are so difficult. Or so easy rather. You don't fucking need to.
Yeah.
Don't need to make it easier. The Hammer Bro sprite up here is just a couple of plain old Hammer siblings, and they give you a music box. So you actually got out of this and just burned my music box. Like I thought, again, this is like inventory management shit started here. Like I had so much shit that I'm like trying to figure out ways to get shit out of my inventory. Like it needed a junk function, it needed a trash can to get rid of shit the way I was playing this game, saving and not burning things. Which of course, if you're playing it OG, that's not a problem. But
yeah, not even. I don't think I've ever even thought about inventory management in this game. It's like I've used that stuff.
I had like 3 music boxes, and I'm like, I need to see what these fuckers have, so I don't want to use these things. I need to get them out of my fucking inventory. So 5-8 is a Lakitu showdown for the ages, all up in the clouds, and yeah, it's all the Lakitu stages I would say are to some degree or another about hauling ass. You're just trying to because you can't. In most cases, you can't engage him, so you need to just outrun him, But this is an extreme iteration of that for sure. And most times, I at this point, I haven't gotten a bunch of Tanukis yet, so like I kind of had the mentality through 5 of like, if I lose my Tanuki, I'm just loading. Like, I want to be Tanuki, you know. But like this stage sucks so bad that I lost my Tanuki, and I was just like, forget whatever. It. I'll get another one. Like, this stage sucks. Oh, and yeah, so in the strategy guide, they pointed out a cool thing here. It's a one-up trick that I had never thought of or seen or certainly done. So if you can drag a Lakitu into the end stage area and let him throw out enough eggs so there's enough enemies walking around on the ground.
Oh, yeah.
And then you hit the box, it turns them all into coins. It's essentially the same as jumping on them or killing them all at once, whatever. And you can do that and get a one-up, which was a cool little...
I forgot about that. I feel like I came across that like accidentally once, and I was like, oh, that makes sense, but it's not something I ever try to do. Yeah. Sure,
yeah. Especially with those dudes. So I went into 5-9 after burning a flower as a joke, just some more house cleaning. Yeah, well, it turned out to be a huge help, actually. So the whole stage is a series of both horizontally and vertically moving wooden platforms, and you have to traverse these to steadily climb up higher in the sky. And it seemed like you know, any kind of flying thing, you're like, Kun Mario, I want Kun Mario here.
Yeah, absolutely. But
later in the stage, there's some fire chomps that start buggering your way, and the fireballs can kill them. And I mean, if I wouldn't have had the fireballs, I wouldn't have made it through this. Like, so yeah, it was a nice little happenstance thing. After that, it's airship time, and the king has been transformed into a derpy kind of bird. I don't know what that is supposed to be exactly, what kind of bird it would be, but he's flying, and he's flapping above the throne. And we are squaring off with Roy here. And they title his shit talking with Roy's a big boy. And his shit talking is, when I hit the deck, my entire airship shakes. Little twerps like you, Mario, won't even be able to move. I don't think Mario will be able to time his jumps, so he's in the air when I land. So it's time to squash him. So he's alluding to that Sledgehammer Brother deal, you know? Or mechanic, rather.
With the weird his glasses always throw me off. Like, they look like 1950s female sunglasses. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Every time I look at them, I'm like, wait, Roy, are you a girl? Yeah. Like, what's your style is questionable.
Back to the Future glasses.
Okay, I could see Back to the Future. I could see Back to the Future.
Well, I mean, when, you know, the 50s. When he's in the 50s, I'm saying, like, those are absolutely the
yeah.
That's like the only time.
I was thinking more Back to the Future 2, those crazy sunglasses that kind of point off to the side. Like, either way, applicable to the situation.
Yeah. Well, they're probably, you know, you can just imagine them trying to differentiate each one of these kids, and like them at some point or other, they're just grasping at straws. Like, I don't know, man. Like,
one stand on a ball. I don't know. Give one different color hair. Sunglasses. Yeah.
Yeah. His strategy guide description is also kind of fun. Big and burly, Roy is the master of Skyworld. He's a big boy. I really like using that, calling him a big boy. So I went into this one with the plan of beating it in Froggy style form, just to mix it up, and ended up having some serious stream difficulties when doing so. So I'm playing through the first time, playing the whole thing with my. I do the stream with the BRB thing selected. It's like I have this like in the OBS thing. I don't think you've really fucked with it much yet, but like it has like the different. It calls them scenes, and you can like literally. Yeah. You can real time just click over to something if you're gonna like walk away in the middle of a stream or something, you know. So I do the whole thing the first time with the BRB look selected on the main stream, which means you couldn't see the game, just that GIF. I have the Moonwalker GIF with the mainframe where he's like, you know, fucking with the. So I have that up as for the whole thing. And I noticed, and I loaded, and I did remember to frog suit up for the second time, and it went through, like, it went great the very first time. Some lucky moments, some clutch platform moves, whatever. But I noticed I wasn't streaming at all for that run. So, like, that time, it had shut off. I'm just like, the point being, I'm the world's worst fucking streamer. There's been so many times where, like, I fucked up some stupid ass thing. Yeah, it's really frustrating how, I don't know. It seems like such a simple thing, but there's just like a very small checklist of things, and like, when you're trying to just do them all real quickly, like, I maybe 30% of the time fuck one of them up. Very frustrating. Anyhow, the airship has some really hairy spots. The strategy guide reads, Roy's airship more than meets the standards for Koopaling design with lots of cannons and bullet bills, and that is very accurate. Towards the end there, it has that steel box stretch where you have the angled cannons above and below you, and that is a really, really tough little stretch of the game.
That's fun.
I lucked into bopping off a cannonball and getting up on top of the box in the frog suit, or I didn't, like, if I wouldn't have done that. Yeah, so like, remember, I'm going through that with the frog suit too, which the movement for that is so shitty, you know? So yeah, I just like got lucky as fuck and bopped off a cannonball to be able to skip that essentially, or I'd have never fucking got in there.
I wouldn't even consider the frog suit on such a stage. That is,
Playing this fucking. I won this. Once I knew that he got the different messages. There's no way I could not have done that. So yeah, I did I think it was 5, 6, and 7 straight. I did all 3 of them. The frog, Tanuki, Hammer Brother.
Yeah.
So Roy is indeed a big boy, even bigger than the mean old Morton in level 2, and he's got some cool ass pink I called him gas station sunglasses, but 50s is the same thing. And then to match his salmon colored shell, and his big operational difference is he does a jump that, yes, when he lands on the ground, freeze locks you in a mini hopping cycle for a beat. And other than that, though, he's pretty same shit, different day. Yeah. Took a few loads. One I would assert was not my fault, controller fail, but otherwise. It was pretty easy. All the Koopa kids, super fucking easy, really.
Yep. It's more about getting to them than trying to.
Yeah, the airships are the tough part. I agree. So Princess Toadstool letter reads, "Be careful in the ice world. The creatures trapped in the ice will come to life if warmed." And then her jewel enclosure is a Jujim's cloud. And then we move into World 6. And the manual description is, everything is slippery in Iceland. Be cautious as you proceed. The world is big. You may find some interesting items. And that had me hopeful I'd be seeing Hammer Bros suits here. The strategy guide calls this the Winter Wonderland, so that's actually a big difference. The artwork has Tanuki Mario sweating his way across an ice block, a Spike and a Buster Beetle standing between him and skating across some frozen muncher plants. There is a Shroom House with a hammer suit halfway through the map, so that prediction or hope would come true. And the White Shroom House is obtained by getting a 78 plus coin haul in 6-7. So that's easily the biggest number in the game, I think, as far as the White Mushroom stages go. The overworld map is a solid 3 screens wide, frosty and snow-covered with quite a bit of water. The cute little green blob plants with eyes and shimmering ice rocks make up the terrain, so those come back from the first level. And the music here is easily the worst of any map in the game, in my opinion. It has like a tinny twinkle sound to it. It's very repetitive loop. Not a fan. Have I ever told you how much I hate ice levels in video games, Jay?
You have not. Do tell.
No?
I mean, you don't like sliding all over the place when you walk and having the control where you stand?
I do not. They are total bullshit, and I don't like them. Yeah, so that's how I feel about those. So let's talk about some of those. They take it easy on you with the ice bullshit in 6-1. The actual ground is just snow-covered, and the physics are no different than any other. Yeah. There are icy blocks you need to platform with up above to wet your whistle on how the slippery shit is going to feel. So they, again, just slowly
get you used to it.
Introduce it to you. And there's a couple optional fun factors to be had here. You can do the whole thing invincible if you come in with a star again, so it has that going on. And there's a door you can fly up to that takes you to a P-Switch Coin Palooza also to kind of just skip through most of this. Yeah. This is the first appearance of the Patui plant enemies. And I mentioned we're playing the co-op. That's a great name for those. And it's, so this is a pretty fun little tangent. So they spell this, Patui onomatopoeia style, P-T-O-O-I-E. And I love onomatopoeias. I also love they wrap the word onomatopoeia up with 4 different vowels in a row. The actual word onomatopoeia. And this got me thinking, how many other words in the English language do that, do you think, Jay?
Probably.
Saying 4 different vowels in a row in one word.
1 or 0.
Okay. There are many pronouns, like if you look it up, there are many pronouns that I have no interest in counting, but actual words, and like I said, the operative difference here is different vowels in a row. There are a lot of words that have 4 vowels in a row, but they repeat some. So here they are. There are 6 total. There's I can't even fucking say this word. Prosopopoeia. I
don't even
P-R-O-S. Oh yeah, I don't know what any of these are really. But so this is it's P-R-O-S-O-P-O-P-O-E-I-A. So it's that E-I-O-E-I-A is how they. Well, no, there's one exception to this, but 5 of the 6 have used that one. But so yeah, this first word is a figure of speech in which an abstract thing is personified, or where an image. Where an imagined or absent person is represented as speaking. So it's like a way of describing something that is maybe not even a person. That's like I guess maybe a ghost kind of thing. Like we're something speaking that couldn't be speaking, basically, you know, in prose. So yeah, a very abstract. You're never going to need it, but there you got it anyways. And then there's pharmacopoeia. Yeah, I don't even know how to onomatopoeia. So pharma is the first etymology root, and then copoeia. And this is a book listing off medicinal drugs and their use. So it's just like a catalog of drugs, basically.
I feel like I've actually heard that word. That actually sounds familiar. Shockingly.
Okay. Yeah, I've definitely never heard that word. And I lived with Herman, and he was a pharmacy major, so I still never heard that word in college. So then there's mythopoeia, the making of a myth or myths. And then there's epopoeia, and that's an epic poem. And this is the one we have. That's it's this one does UIAE at the end, and it's a reliquia. And this is fossil remains of plants or animals, and there's onomatopoeia, of course. So 6 total. So don't ever say this podcast didn't make you a smarter human being. There you go. The 6 words that have 4 different vowels in the word in the entire English language.
Random facts with Josh.
Yeah. Yeah, back to Mario 3. So I took down a couple of normal hammer bros for a hammer on the way to 6-2. And which I don't think I ever used that one. That one sat in my fucking when I got to the very end of the game, I was like, I saw that hammer there in my inventory, and I was like, I'm using the strategy guide after the stages, so I should have, if there was a place to use that hammer to get something, I would have done it. So what the fuck is this hammer for? Do you know?
It's because of the range and the way it works. Like, I honestly just use it like. Wait, you're talking about the hammer to break or like the Hammer Brother suit?
No, the hammer to break rocks with. You get one from the Hammer Brother here.
Yeah, at this point, I'm not sure. Like, I've used them in like World 3 and World 6 or
2. Yeah, you use 1 and 2.
World 2
it's
and
behind
World 3 have them.
Yeah,
and then there's another world. But yeah, at this late in the game,
I don't know what
really
that
think
is
about them. I don't even think about breaking blocks at this point in the game, though.
But I mean, you know how I play these games, dude. Like fucking.
I mean, there's one on 6. Like after World 2, there's a brick that you can break or block you can break to get to
actually
that pipe.
Get you somewhere you want to be, though.
But most of those are usually kind of like the locked doors, like, hey, to help you get past something where like your partner.
I guess I see one there. I guess you can use it to skip the. Maybe you can use it to skip the fortress? Or something? I don't know, man. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where
it's one of those things that like I learned them like what each one was necessary for, but realized like, all right, I really don't need to break these. Like if I'm trying to just go, you know.
But this is the only one that's. I mean, the other 2 take you to like really interesting, valuable secret areas, you know. Well, whatever that hammer is used for, heading into 6-2, this is an auto-scroller with some ice, but they display remorse and make most of it on cloud platforms that we haven't seen prior, so you don't do any sliding. But the first time I'm going through this, though, so, you know, it scrolls horizontally, like most levels that do auto-scrolling, and then out of fucking nowhere, it just starts scrolling vertically, and that definitely caught me slipping.
You're like, whoa.
Yeah. 6-3 rather is a lot of the same idea, but without the auto scroll. And again, I was just looking over my overstocked inventory and saw the P-Wings. I'll probably never use because I don't want to skip any stages of this play. So I figured, fuck it, I'll just P-Wing this thing.
Yeah.
I'll start doing that a lot with the items here on the back half of the game. And I rationalize it too. I'll be like, okay, well, if I do that, I can just like, you know, I can really just explore everything and make sure I don't, you know, there's nothing I don't have to, you know, experience. So, like jabbing his fucking Erdrick weapon and armor justifications. So yeah, I head in here, and it's not too far along. There's a pipe in the sky that I head into, and inside a small room with a giant question block, inside of which is a Tanuki. And even if I wanted to not pick up the Tanuki, I'm picking it up because Tanuki. But I have the P-Wing on, remember? So I picked this up 100% expecting to lose my P-Wing status, you know?
Yeah.
But no, you pick this shit up and you become a P-Wing Tanuki. And I was like, oh my God, that's so fucking dope. So yeah, really fucking cool. And yeah, it's basically me reaching my apex as a human being. Probably I can now die a happy man, having discovered that Tanuki ultimate Tanuki status.
Nice.
And then I noticed breakable bricks in the top left corner of this room where the shit is, so I could take my raccoon P-wing ass up and go through a further hidden corner room above this. So this, I mean, like, if you're not P-winged, I guess you can still run up and do it, but like, yeah, I wouldn't have even looked at that if I hadn't been doing the P-wing thing. I literally, like, I found this and I'm like, okay, I gotta record a video of this. So like, I start recording and just to show me flying around a ridiculous amount of time as Tanuki, and doing that is how I notice the hidden area, the bricks I noticed a little brick that you can break up in the top left corner, you know. So it's just the game that never stops fucking giving, as far as like just more secret stuff on top of more secret stuff on top of more secret stuff.
That's fun game design, because I feel this is one of those levels, like when you look at the icy, like the ways you can slip, this is a natural, like, I'm gonna P-wing kind of level. So it's good that they have that extra secrets up there, you know?
Yeah. 6-4 is all slippery ice blocks and wooden platforms buzzing around on tracks, platforming central, basically. But I would say it's not a frantic one. It felt balanced to me, which some of these ones where you're buzzing around on those platforms that move on tracks are like, it's a fucking lot, in my opinion. So this one felt like a little bit of a reprieve. And they also have some of those spinning arms, but in the past, these have had they would stop and start.
Yep.
You know, and they'd be used as like a.
You got to time it.
Right, exactly. These are perpetually spinning, though, so they're not for platforming. They're just to make you lose control on the ice. You know? So, again, just taking small things and just tweaking them a little and making it a new feel. 6-5, I couldn't fucking do, man. I Jujin Clouded twice to skip it, to get the Hammer Bro suit from the Toad House, and then Jujin Cloud back. Like, that's literally, I was like, fuck this, I can't fucking do it. Like, you go down into a subterranean area that has you looping a relatively short span of ice block throwing beetles right to left, interestingly, where you have to take a Koopa shell up to an area with a couple of the hopping white plants guarding a brick wall in front of an exit pipe, right? And like, there's just the sequence of thing. I mean, by the time I had any clue what to do in it, the timer had like 50 clicks left, and I just couldn't fucking do it, you know? So yeah, I was just like, I am not going through that again, you know? A lot of run around on that level. And 6-6 also, fuck that as well. I don't even want to actually talk about 6-6. Do you? I don't want to even talk about 6-6. Like, it's ice level on steroids. It's like ice level to the max, you know? It is just absolute bullshit. So, yeah, I didn't have any fun playing that one either. Also, fuck 6-7, which is the 78 coin White Mushroom House deal, so you know it's fucking borderline impossible, you know? So, yeah, I mean, honestly, I think that stretch of 3 levels might have been the hardest in the game for me, you know? Even counting 8-8 shit. Or 8 World 8 shit, I mean.
I mean, I could see, because especially 6-7, like, you're in the air, you got slippery ice, like, it's... Yeah, that's a fair assessment.
I was trying to do the thing. I was maybe 10 times I tried this fucking thing. And
wow, 10 times.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. It's absolutely impossible to do that with to get the coins and fucking get the White Mushroom House.
I mean, that's why, I mean, it gives you a challenge, right? Like, you could get through the level, but like to try to get that, like, you gotta have a challenge for all the like hardcore, like, I can do more in my sleep, dudes, you know?
Yeah. Can you imagine? There's some fuck out there that has a video of them speedrunning that with the White Mushroom House completion stuff happening. Maniacs. The second fortress is all ice, and it relies a lot on timing out thwomp resets to slide through small holes. So that's, I mentioned there was that one, the hand thing where you had to slide through with the cheeps underneath that thing. I think that those moments in the game where it requires you to do that, like where you need to slide underneath something, crouching in the middle of some shit going on, I think were the most satisfying moments for me in playing. Like when I would get those right, like that was the most satisfying accomplishment. You know, that's like, I think that's like top 3 Mario 3 mechanic or whatever you want to call it, like shit. You know, very, very, very felt very, very good. So yeah, I aced this the first time, despite some very close calls, and after the 3 levels previous to it, I really needed that emotionally. I was surprised that there was no maze shit here too. These boom boom things have become like maze centric at this point in the game, so I was pleased that it didn't have any of that going on. The boom boom room is unique though, and it's a whole room of ice, of course, and he starts up on a 4-block platform to the right. And if you get stuck underneath that block, if you slide underneath there in the middle of this battle, you're fucked. Yeah, you cannot get out of there, basically. So very important that you don't do that. He does at least stay bound to the floor, though. He doesn't fly, to give you some level of hope.
At least they switched that. At least they switched that one up. You know, made it applicable, like with the ice, and made it not just the same thing. I'm going to come in here and smash this dude with no problem.
Yeah, that's if you want to, grasp at straws to have complaints for this game. That is certainly one of them. That the boom boom mini fortress battles start to feel very redundant. But although they're kind of, that's kind of like the Koopa Kids too. I mean, honestly, the fortress is the thing with those, I suppose. And,
I mean, some of those, honestly, like and again, I've played this game so many times that like I know what to expect. If you didn't have like some of the, like without putting that aside, like if I hadn't beat this game many, many times, each level, as you progress and get up to worlds 5, 6, 7, things get so difficult that you don't need that challenge when you get to the boom boom and you're like, oh my gosh, let me just hit this dude 3 times so I can be done, please. With this level.
Yeah, I feel like Dragon Warrior 2 is inspiring this thought a little bit, but that whole fucking diatribe I had about like the victory lap aspect of Hargon's castle, like that. It's you've already done the hard part. This is just kind of like a little bit of a celebration of your accomplishment, I feel like the boss battles themselves are a little bit of that in this game. The challenges in the level itself. 6-8 is weirdly just plain grassy hills with some of the grunt enemies we've seen a lot of in this world, spikes, buster beetles, and nipper plants. And there is a fun, perfect 88-block square up in the sky towards the end that you can turn into coins with a P-switch and fly up and grab. But otherwise, it just kind of felt like, and maybe this is just a furthering of the idea that I was just talking about, but it felt like fluffer to draw out getting to the castle. There's like this was like super easy and laid back,
Yeah. It's like giving you a little break from it. Almost.
6-9 doesn't have to be, but it is preferentially a frog suit level, so that kind of comes out of right field. It has 6-6 vibes. With the frog suit, you can get around just fine in the water portion, and you can go an above water route, but it fucking sucks! So, I recommend having a frog suit for this.
Yeah.
You can also P-wing to a shortcut right to the exit at the very beginning. I saw on the strategy guide. That's kind of fun. That's why we were playing. It's like there's 2 things. So those rooms that you come into in a lot of stages that are just like you have to go in a door or a pipe. You start and it's just an empty screen, no enemies. You have to go in a door or a pipe, and it's just kind of like I don't even know why they're there almost. I guess it's story world building or something. But there's those, and every one of those, I'm always checking for a 1-up that's never there, like against the wall or something, or thinking about trying to fly up and over something, because I know there's like 1 or 2 instances in the game where that's the case. And the other one of these is on the airships. One of them has a mushroom or something you can hit, a hidden one, after the pipe down to the Koopa Kid cabin. So like every one of those levels, I can never remember which one it is. And every one of those levels, I'm always jumping over the pipe and checking every fucking empty space, trying to find something that, and 9 times out of 10, I don't even need what's in it. But it's like pattern movement. I don't know.
I did the same thing, and then I just kind of stopped because I'm like, this is madness. I know it's one of them, but like, I don't need to keep doing this.
Yep. 6-10 blows, nothing to talk about here. And then there's a third goddamn fortress, which is extreme. This is a conveyor belt. So it's like, it's funny to me that they chose to put that here because conveyor belts and ice are like the worst things about video games as far as old school video games
conveyor belts suck.
Yeah. So it's hilarious to me that they they could have just made it ice and accomplished the same thing, basically. I guess you have the added thing with conveyor belts of it's not just your inertia, it has its own deal going on. So I guess it's not the exact same thing, but it's pretty close. It's a pretty perfect compliment, I think. So they are equally bullshit. And then the Boom Boom Room, which you're getting to by the hair of your chin chin chin, has 5 blocks cluttering up the jumping space, so there's no cakewalk there either. It's really messy in there. Before the Boom Boom Room, though, there's a cool set piece, a room you fall into out of the doorway from the main conveyor belt area, and then down past a few screens of windows. So yeah, this is really cool. You fall down, and it's like just a pretty, it's not a wide room, but there's all these boo diddly things going on, and you have to wait while the door scrolls all the way down for you to access. So you kind of just got to like do a dance with them to
stay alive.
To keep them fucking off your ass while you wait for the door to come down. So again, just only time in the game you see anything like that. One time, and it's I just can't believe how much variance there is in the game. And I know I keep fucking beating a dead horse, but it's just amazing to me how much shit there is in this game.
There just seem like there's so many levels to this world. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Well, it's 3 screens wide, so
more than any other one. It's like, oh my gosh, this is intense.
I told you, 5 and 6 suck, man. 6 more than 5. So then it's castle time. King has been transformed here into a seal, and he's sitting in the throne, twirling his crown up in the air above him with his nose, which is cute. Lemmy Koopa is the adversary aboard the ship. And Jay, could you please hit us with the shit talking that Lemmy has for us?
Welcome to Lemmy's Magical Circus, Mario. Would you like to have some fun with these magical balls? See if you can balance yourself on top of them like I can. Ha ha ha.
His look is a bit unhinged. Eyes are crossed up, and he's got a mohawk dyed like a rainbow. So this is the, I don't know. What do you call it? What's the word? The person in the family that's like the fucking goofy one. There's a name for it. It's escaping me right now. But
I was thinking more of Black Sheep, but this dude is definitely
Black Sheep. That's it. Yeah, that's it. That's what I was trying to. He's the Black Sheep. Yeah, Black Sheep doesn't have to be like Black Sheep. Insinuates kind of like he has like something mild that's dark. Right. Like he's just goofy. I think it's just like the one who's just the oddball.
Yeah, he's super eccentric. Like, what are you doing there?
Yeah. The airship is not easy, but they don't throw anything at us that we haven't seen. Down into the cabin with Lemmy, the floor is flat, and he's balanced on, one of those grocery store aisle toy balls that we've talked about before when we first saw this in the instruction manual. And so more of these balls fire out at a pretty good clip in all directions. Then they bounce nearly to the ceiling, and they persist on the screen. So it's reminiscent of the Windy battle, in that it can get pretty busy in that room if you allow the battle to go on long enough for that to be the case. So
strike him down early, folks. Yeah.
Strike these though, at least with Windy, you can't, if you hit the rings at all. These you can at least jump off of, so that's a nice difference, I suppose. I believe had to utilize that in order to survive. So yeah, I'm coming in here with the Hammer Brother suit. So I was trying to do this one as Hammer Brother, and I was, at the very end. Like, I literally had him twice and then fucking bounced off a ball, just like, I was not trying to, it just happened, Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to pull this off, I don't think. But I got that fun dialogue from the king about borrowing my clothes and saying, like, when I say no to it, he says that's a real drag, so that's usually the funnest one. So that was fun to get.
At least you get another P-Wing for defeating him, beating that one, though.
Yep. And the letter with that reads, I am well. Please retrieve the magic whistle hidden in the darkness at the end of the third world. So another case where they're telling you to come back and play the game again. The thing about this fucking letter, like the first time she does this, she's like the bandits took it east of the dunes, So like that, you can like piece that together as some direction as to how to find the whistle. In this case, she refers to it as the third world, which in all the accompanying literature of the game, manual and guide, would be referring to Waterworld. The
World 3, yeah.
Yeah, right, exactly. It should be third stage, Yep. So that's fucking
confusing.
Yep. And then to boot, she uses the terminology in the darkness, and that means nothing.
Well, it is, but you have to drop behind the block to go.
Right, exactly. Like, yes, so. You can. Once you know how to do it, you can piece that together as talking about the end of the stage and being back there. But like, otherwise, I don't know. I don't know how you make that connection without already knowing what she's talking about. I mean, at least it makes you start asking questions, I guess, about there's something there to discover. So I suppose that is, whatever. But it's definitely, you're not going to use that. Like, you need some. Basically, let the playground rumor mill begin is really what that is.
Exactly.
It's like, let's fucking get the think tank together and start working through this as a group, because this is not going to get me there alone, which I guess is fun.
If you make it to this point in the game and you don't have that secret, then it's like, and you can't look it up, good luck figuring it out.
Yeah. Okay, so then we are into World 7. This is the pipe maze. manual description for this is left and right. It seems that all you can see is a maze of pipes. With so many pipes around, there's bound to be lots of plant life to slow Mario down. Don't get discouraged. You're very close to your goal. And they were right, because I could feel Bowser's hot-ass breath from the back of my neck by this point in my play, for sure. And yeah, I mean, I never play 7, dude. Like, I never always have skipped 7. So this felt particularly anew to me, playing through this world.
Yeah, every time I come through here, like, if I'm not playing it all the worlds, because, there's times I do that. The first time I did this, I remember I stayed home from school, I was sick, and, like, my dad had rented me Mario 3, so I played through every single world and then went back through with the P-Wings. But, like, unless I'm doing that, I'm, for fun, obviously you got to play World 1. I might play World 3 or 4, depending on how I'm feeling. 5, not really 6. But, like, 7 is kind of just like, no, I'm good. I'm moving on.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which I think, funny enough, we went to 7 and then did that in our, how far did we get in our co-op? It was, we played it.
We made in 7. We were through.
Oh, yeah, we did. Actually,
yeah, we made it to like 6, 7. Yeah, and they were just like, all right, now. Yeah.
It's funny that we ended up doing that either way. The strategy guide artwork has Hammer Bro Mario atop a series of pipes with all kinds of piranha flora popping out of them. He's firing off his projectiles at them. The data box shows 3 shroom houses, one of which has just the basic bitch shit, and then there are 2 with elite power-ups. So these are the 2 best mushroom houses in the entire game. Mm-hmm. They have Frog, Tanuki, and Hammer. So just
like, give me those.
Yeah, exactly. Those are the ones that give you the 3 messages with the king. Yeah. So yeah, those are the elite ones. The White Shroom House is stage 7-2. You need 46 coins there to make that happen. The map is 3 screens wide again and made up of little islands with a POI or 2 on each, all interconnected with pipes they have to go through to move to each one. And that strategy guide artwork is a 100% accurate depiction of how I roll into 7-1 with my hammer guns ablazing, because I beat the castle with Hammer Bro, so that was fun to me. And I think that I was Tanuki going into 6 too, or 5. So I was just like, I don't know. There's like you think that this game is completely non-linear in that regard of like how you play it is not going to match up with some story, but it's just funny to me that I felt some like correlatory nature to my play and what the strategy guy was suggesting the story was,
Nice.
Pretty fun. I'd never really used the Hammer Brothers suit at all in my life, and we haven't talked about it anyways, so I think that warrants that. It's really nice how you can duck into your shell and be basically invulnerable, which protects you against fire coming from the pipes and stuff, or from the piranha plants and shit, so that's pretty cool. And then
they kill everything. Yeah, the hammers kill everything. Like,
everything.
Awesome.
Right. Yep. And I was surprised at how you can add some extra zip to the hammer throw by generating some inertia.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm telling you, man, holding B is like the key to everything in this game.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah, no, everything. I mean, that's applicable outside of, everything. Like you said, I'm always holding B also for the most part. But like the fact that it gives you control over that too, it surprised me. I did not expect that to be the case.
This is the one weapon that felt like, if I can find this, like, hell yeah. Like this seemed like the holy grail weapon, like beyond the Tanuki to me, like, because it has the weird stone aspect, which we talked about. But to me, like if there was ever a point where we would fight over like a mushroom house or anything, it's like, hammer, I need that. I need that.
I'll take that. Yeah. I mean, especially here, there's at least 2 of them, I suppose. So if you can come to a democratic, fucking resolution of how to divvy those up, it's at least can be 50-50, which is nice. But yeah, I can certainly see how this could get pretty heated if you're not able to do that as siblings. I can see this being a real fucking
lightning rod.
Lightning rod. What's it called? A fire and something. A tinderbox. It can be a real tinderbox. That's what I'm searching for. So 7-2 is our White Mushroom Escapade, and you need to employ some frog suit action if you want to. We talked about this when we were playing. So yeah, you go into the sewer area down below, and you hit a P switch, and there's all this water down there. There's no enemies or anything, but just to be fast enough to get through it and actually get those coins, you're gonna have to be Frog Mario. So it's kind of I don't know. I don't know if it's really worth it, basically. Giving up your Hammer Brothers suit for that? Like, I don't think so, man.
Hard pass. For some coins? No.
Yeah. It's just a P-Wing, too, that you get from the house. So, bah.
Yeah.
7-3 is one of those get a star in the beginning, keep it going the whole stage if you move your ass levels. And it took me a few tries, but if you nail these, they are a fucking blast. And this is the one that we tried a little bit, too. The end, there's a Lakitu bastard bombing away from above, so it's all the more satisfying to be invincible and just be like, fuck off. Yeah. 7-4 is underwater, and this sucks. You played this one in the couch co-op. I hated this level, dude. It was so bullshit. Because there was just, I'm trying to go through it as Hammer Mario the first, and it was just not happening. No way. Yeah. No.
When I see water, if I'm not a frog, it's like, give me the fire. Like, I need fire. But this one, like, and yeah, I, went through it too, even with fire. Like, if you just aren't on your P's and Q's going through those jellyfish, you're getting hit. Like, and then Bertha comes through. It's like,
yeah, I think because you basically have to just tread water there at the end. Yeah,
it's not a long level, it's not a difficult level, but that stretch, that one stretch there, it just determines whether or not you make it.
Yeah, it's just regular old Mario is just not built for swimming for sure. Which I'm sure is intentional. They kept it that way through. Is there any swimming in 2? I can't even remember, but 1 and 3 for sure. It always sucks in 1 and 3.
I don't think so. We got the digging and the sand and stuff in 2. I don't recall any swimming.
So yeah, you run in the middle. There's like, I guess it's worth fully explaining. You like it gives you like this open water moment. So you like it builds the suspense and lets you know you're going to get into something that sucks for sure because you go through. It's just all open water. There's nothing on the screen, and then one of those jellyfish comes in. The bloopers with the kids that they'll spit them out in all directions. And then, yes, you go through, they're called Gelectros. They're everywhere. And the little tunnel through them is, I mean, maybe 2 Marios wide, 2 Mario heights wide. Yeah. So brutal. And then at the very end, there's a big Bertha swimming back and forth. And is it the one that spits or no?
Yeah, this one spits.
Okay.
This one spits a little.
Yeah fucking just super hard. That strategy guide actually calls this the most difficult water level in the game too. So
really,
it's not just a feeling. The pros at Nintendo HQ feel the same way. 7-5 is a fun brain teaser of a subterranean pipe maze. You have to go down one, come up another, and hit some coin blocks to create a platform. Then go through and come up a few pipes back, etc., etc. And I really like these a lot. I told you, once I really started going, these ones that really felt like puzzles. Mm-hmm. Left me feeling, I think, the most like fulfilled as far as a Mario level could. It was like the building that into these real-time action platformer sequences is really fucking just incredible game design. It's that Mario Maker 2 thing. It's just like so brilliant. And obviously, they go so much further in those levels, but for a base game, getting some of that feeling in here was pretty impressive, I thought. We have another one of those non-numbered deals on the next island. It's grouped with a fortress and stage 7-6. The strategy guide calls this a giant piranha plant, and it requires a heavily choreographed dance with a ton of piranha plants, but it's only a handful of screens long at least. I mean, yeah, it is. You get a P-Wing at the end, so you might as well just P-Wing through it and just take that trade and save yourself the stress,
Yeah.
Yeah, fun, real cool thing we noticed too while we were doing the couch co-op here that when it's paused, they kept coming up,
Yeah.
But weirdly, it was not. It's just an animation tick because when I unpaused it, it wasn't like in sync with what I was seeing on the pause screen. It was like where it was when I hit pause. So honestly, I think that's even worse,
Maybe they're just doing that to throw you off. Like, oh, you thought you could pause it and like time this?
Right, yeah, really, yeah. I mean, that's probably what it was. You have to assume. Like, why else? Like, there's no way to do that. I don't know. Who knows? What do I know about programming? But, you would think that would have to be deliberate. There wouldn't just be some fucking fail state of programming, I guess it's possible, but... Whatever the case, the fortress is next. It's ID'd in the strategy guide as the abandoned fortress. So again, just taking this and doing something a little different. So fucking cool. And it is because it's the Boom Boom Room after closing time is how I roleplayed this. There ain't no one there but Boom Boom. And it is mazy to give it some level of challenge. But I stumbled right into which, you have to assume, because I've never played this level in my life, I don't think. So the fact that I walked in and found the P switch right away that switches this whole room of bricks into coins is, you have to think that's intelligent design that's leading you to that, in some way, shape, or form, subconsciously.
It's good because like this is not a particularly long castle to me, but you kind of have to know where you're going because you can easily just loop around, and just get lost, for sure. And simple, but simple but well done.
Yep. So yeah, the strategy guide calls this room in the beginning here the ultimate one-up factory, and you can get a Tanuki suit. So it's another example where they give you a Tanuki suit in the level, so that's cool. But you can get that and then loop back and do this, hit that P switch, and just, you can, if you know where you're going, you can blow through this level in like fucking, including the boom boom fight, in like, I don't know, fucking 60 seconds maybe, or 60 timer ticks. So you can really stack one-ups here if you want before you head into 8, which is a nice thing. Part of the actual track through this is you go into this room that is like the closing time boom boom thing. It's like a completely empty room. They have like the roto disc red dots, but there's no dot going around it. They have the ghost flat things with the ghost coming out of each side of them, the boos that are like attached to a platform, but those aren't there, so again, I don't know, I don't know, they're drunk and went home. I don't know why they're not there, but they're not. But yeah, this was another, I didn't know how to get through it the first time, so even finding that P-switch initially, I was still fucking looping around and having some difficulty here, because I didn't think to check the ceiling, which is what you have to do. In that room, you have to fly up, and there's a pipe just in one little area that you got to fly into to get to the Boom Boom room. So yeah, I got into Boom Boom's lair with maybe 35 ticks left on the clock, and beat him with 19 left. So nice. You can beat Boom Boom in 16 ticks if you're really motivated.
Dude, I had a similar experience. I forgot like the loop around, but I did remember like I'm flying up because I know there's got to be something up there. That part I distinctly remember.
Yeah, those rooms are so visually distinct that it's probably, once you do it, that's probably stuck in your craw for the rest of your life, I would think. 7-6 is a lightbox puzzler on a vertical ascent, and they add in the ability/need to clip off one of the side of the screen and come in the other. So that's, again, just cool. Taking these vertical shaft climbs one little step more and allowing you to loop around to the other side of the screen, kind of Pac-Man style. So that one's cool. 7-7 is another keep the star alive burner, and the whole damn level is covered in the small piranha flowers, and I couldn't do it. Lost my Tanuki suit. I think this was the one I think that we didn't beat 7. Yeah, we couldn't beat this level, and then I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to use my whistle. 7-8 is tricky ship, but nothing all that noteworthy in here other than a Hammer Bro suit. This is where you get the Hammer Bro suit in the level. And that's pretty much it for that. 7-9 is yet again something completely new. The strategy guide tagline is a different type of pipe maze that nails it. And this is, so actually, no, we did play this because we did do this one. Yep. Yeah, so this is, it's basically like one of those pipe structures that there's a few of them. These are more prominent in World 2, actually. There's a few of these where you have to. They're just like the skinny pipe structures, and they have little holes in them, and you got to like work your way down to a pipe that's inside one of them. So
this is the one where you can definitely run out of time for sure, you have to be big. Like I won't say this is one of my favorite. This is one of my favorite levels because I always remember it. It's always distinctive. And I'm always like, if I'm not big, like I might as well just die and get an item and come back. Yeah, it's really well done. Because if you skip it and think you can like fly through it, you get to the end, you're like, what do I do?
Nothing over there. Just a couple wooden blocks and fucking nothing. Second Fortress hits next, and it is a doozy. I made it through on my first run as Fireball Mario until I graciously accepted a Coon suit offered to me late in the stage. And I think it might be a top 5 gaming moment for me. Finest gaming moment for me all time. Like it's like this lava pipe platform piranha thwomp extravaganza, and I just could not believe that none of it caught me. It was one of those things where you're just like perfectly like you feel you see the Matrix. You see the Matrix. Yeah. Like see the Matrix.
Yeah. This one is not easy. So mad props.
And this actually has one of the duck things too. Towards the end, so there's this. Like right at the run up to the Boom Boom room, where you have to run, duck, slide beneath the wall opening, and there's an orbiting disco ball, one of the roto disc things, patrolling the gap. And it actually passes through the gap that you have to slide through. So you gotta like run, slide through this thing with it timed to this thing, and then get your ass back up fast enough and run and start climbing those steps. Just so the smallest sliver of room to make that through without getting hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
oh my gosh.
Felt like a fucking superhero rolling into the boom boom room. The only thing left before the castle is another giant piranha plant standing guard outside of it on the map, and this is just a complete throwaway level, like total cake relative to the first piranha plant. I don't even understand why they put this here. It's just a waste of time. Even down to the basic, they give you a mushroom as the reward from it, so it's like even down to that, it's just like, basic useless shit. I mean, I guess like you said, if you're playing this game totally straight on OG hardware, every item matters because you get into 8 and like I would just wish I was big going into this, It was definitely a thing. So I mean, it's a little bit of a luxurious perspective, I suppose, with how we're playing it from a modern save state way. But so castle time now. Let's really do this thing. The king here is now a piranha plant sitting in a tiny pipe in front of the throne, crown on its head. That's pretty fun. And the Koopatot is Ludwig von Koopa, who has a single fang protruding down from his upper lip, or from his upper jaw, rather, and a hairstyle that I have to think is going for some Beethoven shit. I think that's what they're thinking
Ludwig von Koopa. Come on. Right, that's why he's my favorite dude. Look at that hair. The hair's great. It's like just almost like Wolverine style, but big and blue.
That's a good comparison, too. I like that. So his shit talking reads, and this is... a German accent, like, this is not my bag. Any accent is not my bag, but we shall see if you can defeat me, Mario. I combine all the attacks of my younger brothers and sisters. I am the ultimate Koopaling. I see you trembling, Mario. Why don't you just go home?
I love the V's, the German accent there.
The airship is long as fuck! And I nailed it the first time yet again. Very nice. I don't know. I was really feeling the flow on this part of the game. Ludwig got me though, the fucker, when I got in there. So I made it through I beat the stage and then fucking got it there and got fucked by him.
It's not a tough airship, I don't think. I feel like this is it's longer, but it's not like a difficult airship, especially at this point.
Yeah, it doesn't have a lot of like really hectic moments, but it is very, very long. I just pewing through the fucking second time and just I wasn't gonna fucking do it again. But as far as battle mechanics go, he's a stocky little fellow, and that heft justifies the Sledgehammer Bro skill of being able to stun lock you. So same as Roy, basically. Another big boy, if you will. And otherwise, that's just the same wand bullshit. He's not particularly fast or anything, so it's just that to deal with. And once changed back, the king reminds me of one of the characters from the old claymation Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer Christmas specials. I don't know if you remember that one or not. But
I can see that,
yeah. He says the same thing as always and gives you a letter he says is from the princess, but it's not from the princess. It reads, "Yo!" which is a great opening. I kidnapped the princess while you were running around. She's here in my castle if you dare to try and rescue her. Ha 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 ha. King of the Koopa. And there's a lot here to digest. There's great condescension at the opening there with the while you were running around. I really like that. Like, yeah, it's a very, very condescending way to put that. Or just, whatever, playing the game. And I think it suggests that he just kidnapped her. And I don't know if you remember doing it, but we had a whole fucking thing about like what the fuck is going on there. Why is she tied to in the art? Why is she tied to the thing? How is she writing us these letters and stuff? So there you go. Shut up, dickheads. It makes perfect sense. And also, he signs it as King of the Koopa, and I've never seen or heard that exact title. I really dig it. That's pretty fun.
It's funny. That's actually how he's referred to in the movie, like King of the Koopa. So I'm like, okay,
really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, if they were, that's you would. I would love to. I don't want to watch that movie. Really, with
it's a good movie.
I mean, maybe I'll watch it eventually, but I would like to hear the story of the development of the script a great deal. Like, where exactly are they? Where from the IP? Like an IP, a video game IP this big? Like, they just announced the fucking Zelda movie, which
did they? I missed it.
Yeah, they just announced that. So it's already like the Zelda world is already notorious for being like a fucking mess story wise, because they've tried to like. It's compounded by the fact that Nintendo has tried to release a timeline at some point or another to explain it all. And like when it was ambiguous and kind of just fucked up and like everyone is whatever, everyone kind of just accepted it. But when Nintendo tried to like put out like a justification for it all, they've really, this is like one of the things that got a lot of shit talking about. So the point being, the IP is already kind of linear or story wise a little bit of a mess. So trying to do a film, a concise storytelling from video game lore that spans 30 years that hasn't always had like a really good and well paid attention to effort to make it all work story-wise. It's already like a little bit of a time bomb as far as a tinderbox, again, if you will, of like fucking might not work too well. So I'm curious exactly how they decided to pull all the story world elements and, like you piss motherfuckers off and like the movie will get roasted and loser ass corporate entities are really worried about that shit. So I'm really curious to know how they made it all work,
You should watch the movie. I'm telling you. It's so straightforward. Like you watch him like, oh, that makes total sense. Like I get it. Like I can't explain that without giving it away. Okay. I think it's worth a watch. It's not a long movie and it's not something that you're going to be like, is a cinematic masterpiece of like filmmaking, whatever, but it's fun. You'll enjoy it, and you'll be like, "That was a good movie," And you'll be able to pick as somebody who's played multiple Mario games over the years. You'll be like, "Oh, I get that. Yep, I see what they did there." Like, okay,
plugged it. Okay,
yeah,
maybe eventually,
without trying to make it like a. Like, I would imagine with Zelda, it'd be tougher because there is a more, like, timeline-based, like, this is what happened and this happened. But Mario's a little more free. Like, you have the worlds that kind of go, and the general story is...
Story means less than Mario, for sure.
That's the general story. But this is... they do it in a different way.
I can see that. No, I would not want to be fucking...
It's worth a check out.
The poor bastards that are going to write the Zelda script. That's their life. I'm guessing is going to be pretty tough while they're doing that. Not going to be a pleasant creative experience. There's no treasure from Bowser. The fuck? So it is just on to World 8. After these messages,
we'll be right back.
It's Mario! Look, Ronald! Mario's mystery block makes him big!
And my magic box makes us lunch!
What's in McDonald's Happy Meal? One of 4 Nintendo Super Mario Bros. 3 toys. A Mario toy that jumps, or an acrobatic little Goomba, a pullback Luigi, or a hopping Koopa Paratroopa. One toy with each Happy Meal you buy.
That is a 1990 Super Mario Bros. 3 McDonald's Happy Meal commercial. And what's the deal with that music? That is not any Mario crank that I know.
That is weird. Like,
yeah.
You would expect it to be just like your standard Mario music, but maybe they couldn't... Right. Maybe rights-wise, it would have cost more. That I don't know. I don't know how that works. It's weird.
Funny. I just heard one of my. I think it was like a podcast ad or something. They opened the Super Mario World at Universal Studios, and like it was not exactly the same thing, but it was kind of weird again. It was like a normal Mario song that they were playing behind the copy read, but something was off, so I don't know, maybe there's like some sort of, I'm sure that music has royalties to it,
for sure.
So there's probably some fucking financial reason for all that to be wonky,
But if you're going to do it, you need to do it right and give us the right music. Come on now. Give us what we expect.
You would think. You would hope, I suppose. I do wish there was anything in my life that even came close to the happiness 8-year-old me got from a McDonald's Happy Meal, though.
Yes, I had that Mario. I remember getting that Happy Meal with that Mario spring. Like, all right, it's got a jump function. Cool.
Yep. Opening those cardboard M handles and digging into the fries while you unwrap the toy. Pure serotonin.
Yes.
I haven't had. When's the last time you had McDonald's, Jay?
McDonald's?
Yeah.
It's been months. I've had it at some point in the last year, but it's been months.
Man, Jesus, dude.
But even that was like, I think it's because Courtney like got it for the kids or something,
I think the last time I ate at McDonald's might have been like 1998 or something.
Yeah, because you don't have kids. Like I've definitely had it like multiple times because of them for sure.
Whoa! I wonder how crazy are fucking Happy Meals these days. Do they come with an iPad app? Do you have to download something?
No. The last time I got a Happy Meal,
There probably is something. There probably is an app, and there probably is something to download.
I don't
even if you're not doing it. I bet there is.
Maybe so.
Yeah.
I know the last one I got for Ezra had Black Panther characters in it, so it was like when Wakanda Forever came out, so it came with Black Panther characters. That was pretty cool.
I guess it doesn't really surprise me, but like I don't know. I've heard McDonald's they're struggling, like that's comparatively compared to their historical
Dominance in that.
nonstop growth. They're struggling to in a more health conscious society keep themselves relevant and whatever. So like I hear there's like this constant struggle. Some of the, I don't know, I think it was fucking the Stuff You Should Know some fucking business or something thing I was listening to was talking about how they're like constantly reinventing the menu and like all these things they're trying to do to like whatever. So like the idea that they can't be doing too bad if like the mainstream IPs like that are still paying to drop toys into their fucking Happy Meals, you know? And I guess maybe that raises the question, is that, you know, of course, there's incentive from the IPs, but at some point or another, has this like the tides shifted a little bit, where McDonald's is more either willing to reduce the cost or more subsidize, like, you know, like who is are they trying harder to keep that stuff, and are they subsidizing in some way? That'd be an interesting little business case study too, to hear like how that's changed, if it's changed, yada yada.
I feel like they'd have to be at this point, because I've clearly had mini burgers. Like I have kids, like sometimes you just got to have something quick, you know, but I'm not opting for McDonald's. I'm opting for something healthier, you know what I mean? That digs Five Guys, something that's more expensive, but I know it has quality ingredients. Like it's rare that I'm opting for McDonald's. It's really got to be, I'm driving, we're going to visit Courtney's grandparents, like 6 hours away on a drive. That's the only place I can stop.
Let's say in the middle of nowhere, the rest stop only has so many options. Yeah. It's tough. It's tough that there's not more. I don't know. It's surprising that there's been some degree, like, you know, it's still, and like I feel like Panera has degraded immensely since 20 years ago when I was actually kind of into it, or not 20 years, well, probably I guess 20 years ago. It's college is what I'm thinking of, and that's 20 years ago. But wild to say out loud. But whatever the case, I feel that's degraded a little. But even that, like even like a degraded version of Panera is still better than McDonald's, you know. So there has been some level of like, you know, even like a shitty truck stop in Bumblefuck is going to have a little bit better options, but not quite maybe what you're looking for. Whatever the case. Not our job to fix the dietary availability problems of the world or United States or whatever. World 8, Castle of Koopa. The manual description, there isn't one. It just says the Darkland in the manual, and there's a blurb from Lemmy Screwy Ass that I read in the last episode. The strategy guide calls it Castle of Koopa, and the artwork has Bowser's punk ass atop a Lincoln Log tank firing at Kun Mario, who is hurtling the cannonball as he sweats in pursuit. And there is no world data box, no white mushroom, no bullshit, just careening towards Bowser's castle.
Yeah, buddy.
And the map here takes a stark turn towards dark, and the fire-ass music track accents that perfectly. The orange and brown color palette is going on here, and there's campfires replace the animated foliage in the previous stages, though from map screen to map screen, there's 4 of them that changes. The water is lava, and there's a not cute pond of that taking up the right half of the single screen of real estate that you start on. And there's no There's no stage tiles to be seen, just a tank and an airship guarding a couple of pipes. We have no choice but to start with the tank, and the stage is a huge auto-scroll procession of the Lincoln Log tanks that are absolutely covered with angled cannons firing both standard cannonballs and bob-ombs, and they work in quite a few of the little red reskinned maintenance dudes, the Rocky Wrenches. And the very last tank has a giant cannon that fires faster than usual, and it fucking absolutely clipped my ass going through here. That's like a very, I don't know, they like change the cadence of it up, you know? Yeah. It both fires faster and more quickly. Like usually when a cannon comes on screen, it gives you a moment to like see it and then make a choice.
This one, like, boom. You better
second it gets on screen, just like fucking fires you. Yeah, so pretty tough. The caboose on the train has a pipe going down to a cabin with the wimpy tank commander. That's how the strategy guide terms this dude. It's a blue reskin of a boomerang bro. And expeditiously dispatching him nets a invincibility star for your inventory, and you head back to the map. I actually got through this on the first try when I was fucking playing for the first player really? One. Yeah, but we were going, when we were playing the couch co-op, man, we were struggling our asses off with this.
Yeah.
But
we also came here small, like it was different, it wasn't, I wasn't focused. I was like, yeah, this is fun, whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean, I was coming off that, like I said, I was feeling the fucking flow when I was playing the one. I was blowing through those last few World 7 stages when I was ripping into this, so maybe I was just in a better flow, I guess, but I also think, I think you had the controller issue. I think there's some lag period with all that shit going on. Probably, I think it felt a little different for sure.
Yeah. This, outside of that though, this is honestly my favorite world. I know it's the last world, but visually, from a visual standpoint, like all the lava, everything, it's just so distinct and different. And we haven't really talked about it, but like, this is the first Mario game. Like, obviously Mario 1, okay, you always having different worlds is a staple of Mario, but in Mario 1 they weren't really distinct. Like, you had different levels, but they weren't distinct. Mario 2 was its own thing. But this, having every world be either it's
distinctly themed,
distinctly themed, and then this one coming in kind of getting away from all the things you've seen in the prior levels, no level numbering, just kind of ships and stuff. You're like, what is going on here? Just visually, I just get excited when I get here. And it's part of the reason why, even when I play this, like, I've played it multiple times and want to just like get the warp whistle to get here. Cause I don't know, it's something about it is just fun. It's tougher. And it's like the run up to Bowser. I don't know. It's exciting to me,
It's funny that you say that because yes, I come in here because, I've never beat this game, but I've been in World 8 a million times because even if it's only just warp whistling here, But coming in here and playing this first level, I got a whole nostalgia vibe, but it's not a positive one.
Oh, really?
This is this is the first step on the road I can't finish. That's what this is. You know what I mean?
Fair.
That's what it feels like to me. Like, I've warp whistled here countless times and shit, and it just puts a bad taste in my mouth because you come here and like you're burning through a bunch of the items that you had, you don't have a bunch of anyways. You either warp whistled here and didn't accumulate a bunch, or you fucking had to use a bunch to get through 7 or what, you know what I mean? Like whatever the case, you don't come in here like just flush with assets, if you play it the normal way. So yeah, historically, this level means to me like, fuck, here we go again, So it's just, I don't know, it was, a weird feeling of just like an ominous feeling, I guess maybe is a good adjective for it, but not this time though, Bowser. Fuck you. I'm coming, man. I'm fucking coming. I got save scums under my in my tool belt, and you're fucked, buddy. So you get through that one, and the next one is it's not an airship, I guess. It's an actual ship. It's floating in the lava, and it is just an exponentially messier version of the same thing as the tank.
Or this one's not even lava. It's just like liquid because you can actually swim.
It is lava, but you can't. I mean, what you say, like fucking orange Kool-Aid? Like, I don't know. Like, what is the? I mean, it's supposed to be lava. It's supposed to be lava. What else is it? But yes, you can swim in it. I did not think to use the cheese where you can just bop underneath the thing and swim underneath the boats. Even though I did know it, I have used it before and died many times trying to do it. Like I mentioned in our couch co-op, like I've many a times as a child bumping up the front of the boat, and you gotta let yourself sink down just enough to get underneath. Yeah. Otherwise, you'll get fucking auto scrolled and killed against the left side of the screen. But if you go too far down, yes, you'll also die. So it's, I don't know. For obviously everything is easier as an adult than a kid, so that's the difference there. But I didn't think to do it. So I actually played through this normally when I played it. The rocky wrenches are back to yellow on this level for some reason, and I can't come up with a rationale for that. Like why?
Maybe they're a different type of just, you know what I mean? Like you have blue Koopa, the shells,
Navy and the Army. Like they are different parts of the Army. They just have different uniforms. Yeah, I guess. But there are a shit ton of the giant cannons here, and then the captain's cabin is a mobile boom boom room. So you do boom boom at the end of this. To the pipe, the airship defeat unlocks, and you're on the second map screen. The skulls are now the main animated decoration. So on each map screen, that kind of changes the decor a little bit, and that's pretty fun. There is a hall of campfires here too, and the path through it has tiles with a bit of RNG to them. Like as you're going through, these hands can come up and pull you down into the stage. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. So there's 3 stage possibilities. So every other one on the 5 tile deal. And there's 3 different kinds of stages. Each one actually represents, like, I kind of thought maybe they'd just be random, really, looking at it. But it turns out I think they're matched up to a certain one of them. But yeah, so there's one Hammer Brothers fight over some lava. And you do like a fireball. Fireball, Hammer Bro, 2 regular Hammer Bros. There's a sledge one at the very end. There might be another one between the regular and the sledge guy. But basically just a run of a Hammer Brother gauntlet. And then there's one that's just platforming over top of a lava river with some fireball shit, and then a cheap.
The freaking fish one. The flying
cheap
fish
bridge,
one,
Oh. That makes you do one of those slide deals that I have talked up a bunch. So pretty fun. Like, they're not terribly hard. They're relatively short. And honestly, the strategy guy puts it as like they're kind of like they consider them to be an asset to a player because they're relatively easy and you get a leaf at the end of them for your inventory, so they give you a power-up, which, like I said, are at a premium in a world with no fucking mushroom houses or anything. So you go through those, however many of them you have to play, and then you have another ship waiting you, and this is the actual icon for it on the screen. It looks less imposing, more dinghy-like, but it is an actual airship, and the auto-scroll on it is absolutely hauling ass, man.
This is the one that I always made sure I need to have one P-Wing on me in P-Wing in World
smart.
8. And it's for this one.
Smart.
Because as you saw, like as we did during our couch co-op, you can definitely make it if you have a tail. Like you gotta be on your P's and Q's because even where you land is going to be small. You don't really have much runway to even land and get that next jump before it auto scrolls you off. So as a kid, we would always P-Wing this level. It's like, yep, got the ship, P-Wing time.
Smart.
Without
not a bad idea.
Attempt it.
This is another one though, dude, where the first time I played it, I got through it like miraculously because it is like literally, to be doing it at like the most highly tuned way still feels like you are right on the edge of fucking not making it,
Yep.
So yeah, I couldn't believe I made it through it. And then I get through it and boom boom caught me slipping. Like I don't know if I must have just been so like I don't know, frazzled that I survived that I get down and the boom boom fucking fight kills me, which is insane. But yeah, I was so disgusted. But yeah, you have to. Whether you're peace winging or not, you have to have a coon tail. Whether you're Tanuki or raccoon, you have to have that like be able to just jump and like get out of something and kind of like float to a safe area. Like without that, if you're just at the mercy of gravity, this is so hard. There's some of them are just like the huge gaps too. You have to jump. It's insane.
And where you have to land is even harder because you have to land on top of the bomb thing that shoots out the bombs, or on top of just the one skinny platform because you'll fall.
Or the dude's the little asshole's head. You gotta like pop off the guys, And like the way it times out, it's just kind of a minute thing, but the way your progression to the level times out and the way they have those the Rocky Wrench guys, like you're never able to just hit them on your land. You always, if you want to take them out, which maybe you don't have to, but they can throw a wrench after you go past them. So it's good to do so. So you're inclined to do so to make your life easier down the road. But you need to like basically do another little jump to kill them as they pop back up just as you land. So like it's just another nanosecond that you have to waste before you can prepare to make the next jump. And there's never even like you have to deal with that. And then there's never enough room to really get a good run to do a big jump. So it's just, everything about it. It's just, it might be the worst platforming thing in the game,
For sure.
Yeah.
This is the only one that I say, the only level in the entire game that I automatically P-wing on without even thinking about it. The only one. Every other one, I'll at least try, But this one is not even. We're not even talking about it.
No, but this isn't any fun. I'm not going to have any fun. No better. So through another pipe after that to the third map screen, and here is it's all pitch black rather, except a small spotlight being shown on Mario, so you can't see what the hell is coming up ahead. And I was actually surprised that they don't. Like I saw that and I expected them to start exploiting that immediately, and that you're going to like be walking, there's multiple paths, and you're just going to walk onto something you don't even know is there, and it's going to auto start a stage. But you don't actually. This is like they start giving you normal stage tiles here that you have to go on to and then hit the A button to actually enter, and that kind of surprised me. So we have 8-1 here. They don't consider any of those airships and tank processions and what have you to be actual stages. So 8-1 is, yes, this is where my journey usually ends when I'm playing Mario 3. This is the stage that I can't beat.
Oh.
Yeah, it's an absolute motherfucker. I played it a few times, and I had to do a walk away. I had to just walk away from the game for a bit and come back. It's this is a really, really difficult stage. It's a mashup of the worst Mario 3 stage bullshit packed as tightly into a cacophony of asshole enemies as possible, as you could possibly do. They do a lot of that white block shit to jump at the end, and I told you, like, even when you're not dealing with lag or anything, those are just... I hate those parts of this game. They're never dependable. I don't give a shit how good you are at this game. I don't believe they're ever fully dependable.
They should be. It didn't feel like that. If there's any bit of input lag, absolutely not. You're screwed. Don't even. Yeah. That's the thing. Like, I think that's what also made this, obviously playing it on OG hardware, like, easier, because you can much more rely on that and expect that, you know. But this is still a difficult level. I'm not even mad at you for having struggles with it. This is not, not easy.
It's got, at the end, it's got one of those where you, and like, the thing is, like, I can, everywhere else in the game with those things, like, yeah, they might fail you, but you don't need inertia to get to the next place that they're getting you to. You can, if you don't get the right jump and you are really paying attention, you have time to register that and not progress and let yourself come back down and try again. In this case, you have to do it mid jump to get to a high pipe over a chasm after it. So, like, if you don't get it right the first time, you're dead, you know? So just, brutal. Complete and total bullshit, in my opinion.
This would, if you have an extra P-Wing, a solid level to use it on, if you got one.
Yeah. So, this was a situation. So I kept dying at this, and then I actually realized, and I kind of couldn't believe it once I noticed it, you could fly at the beginning of the stage, though.
Yeah,
there's runway.
The key.
Yeah, there's runway to build up your P meter and just fly over this shit, which is so nice. There's actually a pipe up in the sky too that you can go down and get a giant block with some 1-ups and shit.
Extra
so
1-ups. Yeah.
And you can actually, this was, again, just chance. So I come into here, and this is one, like, that area, that hidden area, it's a right to left scenario where you go down like a few kind of steps, you know? Mm-hmm. And I was able to come out of that area with my P-Wing meter filling up or becoming full or still full, whatever. And I basically was flying as I came out of the pipe, which I didn't know was physically possible. So I was basically able to skip this whole level for all intents and purposes. Because I came out of that pipe mid-flight and could fly again to get to the end. So I just didn't know that was possible. 8-2 is a night desert level, and I know that 8-1 is the end of my path because when I normally play this the rest of my life, because I've never seen this level in my entire life. It's a very distinct looking level, you know.
So I take it you did not go take the trick down in this one in the quicksand. That's my always go to. Like, yep. It has one of the angry suns in it, you know, which is again, I didn't like. It's my favorite thing in the game, that level in World 2. So the fact I didn't know that it reappeared is kind of crazy to me. But you can. There's some quicksand in the beginning. You can skip all this and just go right down to a secret room, couple pipes that basically take you down the stage, skip all the dumb shit. You do have to do a couple more of the music note block jumps right at the end there, but other than that, it's basically a Jujim's Cloud of this place. Yep. So the fortress is next, and Jesus Christ, with this level, the whole thing is a masterclass in run around and deception. But really, all you need to do is just skip everything and go to the end. You know, it's funny. It's great game design because they have spent an entire game ingraining into you the need to approach these like a maze, you know what I mean? So the idea that you get to this last one and you expect it to be like the most epic of all those, and in actuality you don't need to do that at all. You just go straight to the end, so good. So my first time through, I almost got it, dude. Like, I did a little bit of the runaround shit, but I eventually decided, I was like, dude, the timer's fucking like, I'm just gonna go and see where I get to, And you get all the way to the end, and you have to do this thing where you hit a P switch, and it makes a couple of doors appear,
And it looks like you just need to like hit that block and go up and go in the one that you can see, but you actually have to go to one that's on a one tile wide platform by the wall, and I just didn't think to go over there and look, so yeah, I had the timer run out of me fucking on this the first time. I was pretty bummed out. So I get out of that and I'm like, I'm not doing that again, and just searching around because I didn't even know. Because if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. You don't know that you could have went wrong anywhere. So like the timer ran out of me. And I was like, I am not going to spend a whole another 400 ticks searching again. So I look at the guide and I see that it was like right next to where I was at, and I was like, oh, you bitch!
So close, but yet so far.
But yeah, that door takes you to the Boom Boom Room, and this is on a conveyor belt for the first time. So. Just a little bit of a tweak. There's no obstructions in the room, though, so actually, even with the conveyor belt, it's not. I would still say that ice room one is worse. Yeah. Because you have that shit to deal with and the ice. Plenty of air clearance here and here, though. After the fortress, you go into a pipe tucked behind that, and you pop out on the last of the World 8 map screens, and it is a straight shot east-west path from the pipe to Bowser's Castle. There's one tank guarding the locked door in the way. And the map has a few mushrooms lining the road and a castle wall tile all around the periphery. So I really like this. Is a cool looking map screen for sure for the final for Bowser's Castle. And Bowser's Castle is pink, and it has some Castle Grayskull vibes going on with it. It has eyes and the mouth has teeth, So that was also fun. Let's see what the fuck this goddamn tank has got, and if I'm just going to P-wing or not. And it actually, compared to some of those early auto scrolls, I would say it's not a cakewalk, but it was pretty doable, I would say. Yeah. I don't think it's, again, like they're not giving you the most difficult thing in the game right before the castle, which was nice. I wasn't able to drag my Tanuki through, but when the pipe down scrolled onto screen, I was like surprised to see it. I felt like I expected more. And then there's just a Boom Boom Room with the most basic Boom Boom tussle you could possibly have after that. Yeah. So then Bowser's Castle. And dun, dun. Yeah, how much sweat off your brow is this late in your SMB 3 career, Jay? How much is this? Not at all. Nothing?
It's still memorized, still remember steps, all the places to go. I'm telling you, man, this is one of the few games in my life. Like, I'm not a person that likes to replay games, really. Like, unless it's a game like Halo Infinite or Call of Duty where I'm playing for the PvP aspect for those short 15, 20-minute play sessions, and I'll come back outside of a story. This is one of the few games that I have played many times, beat many times, and keep enjoying it. And as a result, remember all the things. So, like, the iconic stretch that you mentioned with the pink mushrooms leading up to the castle, every time I see that, it's like, oh, yes, happy nostalgic vibes, let's go. Because I also remember getting into that castle, struggling and butting my head up against the wall for the first time, like, so many times. And just
like... never even had seen this screen, so yeah, it was cool.
It's so exciting to actually come back here and, like, yes, I remember... And we'll get to it, like, once you actually beat him. The ecstasy I felt, like, yes! And then, because the first time I beat it, I immediately came back through again with the P-Wings and stuff and played through the game again to beat it again.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, there's not a lot of games you finish and you want to play again, so that's a hell of a testament. Yeah, so I head in here. I mentioned I got this huge stockpile of dope-ass items I haven't used yet. And, I'm like, it occurs to me how much of a loser I am for that to be the case, that I'm like saving things for what, we talked about it in the couch co-op too. But, so yeah, I come into this, I'm like, okay, well, I'm going all out. I'm fucking Tanuki suit and a star for my first time in here,
Okay.
Yeah, so it starts, and I'm invincible, so I just like start hauling ass right away. So you
past the laser eyes,
exactly. Yeah, so I run right past those sentries, which was great. Yeah, there's like these they're elevated Bowser statues that they pop off these laser blasts at 45-degree angles downward at you. So yeah, it was awesome foresight using that star because coming back through here again, you realize that you can't just run past them. You have to. If you just run, the middle one catches you. So. Yep. You have to kind of increment your way through those. So you get past that. So I'm hauling ass to get past them. So you go up these stairs afterwards, and I just fly up those because I built up enough piece shit running, right? So I fly up those, and you get to the landing, and you can see the chasm above you. So the assumption is you need to go up, sure, but you can't see any platform or anything, So I just run right past it and fly off that little blue platform that appears. And it flies up past me, and there's not enough room up there to run again, just to fly. So I'm like, oh, fuck. So there's a door. So you had to go through the door, and it takes you into this, like a gray loop area where you go into, and you have to go past a couple dry bones to go in another door that takes you back to the very beginning, right? So now my star's gone, but I don't know that middle one's going to hit me yet. So I just run again, lose my Tanuki, and I'm like, fuck! Yeah, like a brutal little thing. So you have to know that, really, to get through that most efficiently, I suppose. So yeah, I'm small by the time I get through that climb up and down past the spinny rotodisc things, which is the next major set piece, right? So there's like 3 of them that you have to go climb up past, and they're so close together, you got to like time them together as opposed to just standalone time.
And you said you were small at this point, right? Mm-hmm. So you didn't do the jump over the one up to get through the wall?
I didn't even know that one up was there. Okay. Yeah, I never got that one up. But yeah, I saw that in the strategy guide that you can just go through the wall there to skip that. Which is, to skip the part down. It's at the top. So you have to do the
You ideally want to be big, but if you happen to be small, hey, why not?
Yeah, it's a nice perk, yeah. No, yeah, I didn't clock that till after I beat it. So then you come through that. So I'm still, the first time, through, I'm alive. I haven't died yet. So I'm still playing my first time. I have no repeat stuff here yet. So I get through that, come down into the donut platform lava area. As small Mario, and I mean, the donut, you're dying. Like, there's just no way you're not dying on that the first time. So I die there, of course. So I come back with another Tanuki star combo platter, and this time I'm able to not have to do the loop, so I have the star, gets me through. So I'm Tanuki going through all that. I come down through that rotodisc area, and I'm able to, there's room enough to fly out of that. So you can fly through that whole donut shit. And the cool part about that is you inherently end up in the top right corner where you need to be, where you may not think to fucking go. So yeah, like I went up there, and I didn't quite have enough flight shit to get to the hall. But you can tell that they accounted for this in the design, because the level below it, where you can see that door, it has a gap to go down for allow you to do a loop, but it has a donut tile. So if that donut thing wasn't there, you wouldn't be able to get enough P stuff to fly up and go in the door, So they this is all thought of an intelligent design. So yeah, so I fly up there, go through that, and that goes into another room of Bowser statues that are keeping an eye on some ornate palace flooring, where the Bowser fireballs start, which is a beautiful little nostalgia nod to the lead up to Bowser in any of the castles in Super Mario Bros. 1. Super fun there. Like, same sound effect even, which you don't realize that you remember that until you hear it, but it is the exact same sound effect, which is really cool.
Oh, yeah.
Hammers home the nostalgia shit. And then it's just a few screens worth of donut over lava platforming while you're dealing with those fireballs coming at you, and you hit a door that takes you into the Bowser King of the Koopa boss battle arena. So yeah, so it's not really terribly hard to get here, I would say,
Yeah. You just have to know where to go and not die along the way.
Correct. So once you hit center, you come in that door, and once you hit center mass on the arena, an original music cue fires up. It is all black sky in here, indestructible gray blocks from a hollowed out pit area that is filled with orange brick blocks that beckon to be broken. And there is a rusty steel door off to the far right, and Bowser drops down right in front of it as soon as the music kicks in and begins popping off those fireballs of his immediately. And these fireballs can travel at an angle, up or down, before leveling off and flying across the screen horizontally. And he'll do 1 to 3 of those. I think I saw as many as 3 in one sequence, or one burst, rather. And then he'll leap up high into the air, quite spryly, I would say, for given his heft. And then he comes slamming down right on top of you. So he'll fly up in the air and go right above you. And he can piggyback that jump, like right after, or rather, right off of after firing the last of his fireballs, whichever one he's going to
anticipate.
Do.
Yeah.
Yep. And so that means you have to like dodge that as you're jumping out from beneath him, which is really the core difficulty mechanic of this battle. But that's really it. I mean, there's not a lot going on with this battle. There's no multiple phases or anything. It's all one kind of deal. He is invulnerable to anything you could or would try to do to him with a tail swipe or anything. So it's all about getting him to pound through those breakable bricks and fall to his death, right? And like, I've never played this level, but I've seen fleeting moments. Like, I've never watched a full battle either. I've never, like, sought out the end of this game because I knew that I wanted one day to beat it, you know? So I've just, even before I had, you know, like, at some point that became a conscious decision in my life where, like, I want to feel these things firsthand. So now there is, like, a deliberate effort on my behalf accompanying this podcast quest of sorts to avoid this information and like experience it as it should be as much as I can for the first time when I'm playing them. But at some point in my life, that wasn't the case. I didn't know that I had that mission, you know? But there's always been, like, for some reason or another, I've never bothered to look up or even like engage some random content that comes along my feeds, you know, to see this battle. So I
was going to say, did you know that?
I mean, you know, like I said, those bricks beckon you to break them. So like I knew that it had something to do with that, you know. Okay. But I didn't know exactly how to catalyze him. You know, I had a pretty good idea that, I mean, I know those bricks are indestructible, or the blocks are indestructible, the blue-white ones. So I know I'm going to have to get him to go through that middle spot, whereas, you know, it's basically 2 Bowser sprites wide. So you really only have 4 bricks worth, and there's 3 levels, 3 layers, I guess, of bricks to go through. So you got to get him to go through 2 bricks wide of 3 levels in the middle of the screen to get him to fall, you know. But yeah, I had some inkling to do that, but I didn't know exactly how to enact the plan for sure. I had to kind of feel it out, you know. So yeah, it took me maybe 4 or 5 tries to pull this off, I think. Okay. Yeah.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, the pro player tactic is to stand right in front of him. So his pound down happens right there in that middle area from, you know, square one. And that's complicated by his fireballs, of course. I mean, you have to time that perfectly. He does have a tell. He, like, kicks his head back as he's about to spit them. So you get a tell, but it's a pretty quick sequence. So even if you can read and react to that tell, it's still not easy, you know, I would say, without, like, an incredible amount of patterned experience doing this. Anyways, do you have any, so, you know, like I said, I'm feeling it out. Like, what are your advanced tips and tricks for this battle?
Well, if you can make it through with a Hammer Brother suit, you can just kill him with a Hammer Brother suit.
Can you really? I didn't even think of that. That's wild. That's
but
really
you have
cool.
to make it through the whole level to do it. It's not easy to do. Like,
yeah,
that
lava portion that would suck for sure.
So I don't even consider that like an option because I never try to do that. But yeah, it's like you said.
And I'm assuming you can't P-wing a Hammer Bro suit. I didn't fence test that. That's an interesting idea, right?
That would be crazy. But yeah, you're right, man. Just stand in front of him trying to get him to drop through the middle because I've gotten caught before and he's like broken through like on the part,
on the
side. And there's like
my first couple battles. Yeah, I mean, I definitely had that because you don't, you know. Yeah, I first got in here and like it's a little bit like, oh fuck, like, oh shit, like, got to buckle down. Like, okay, let's do this, you know. And like, you're not. It's tough to register everything. You're still trying to feel out exactly what. You don't even know what his full movement set is. You know, you're kind of waiting for the other shoe to drop and something else to happen. So you're not able to maybe whatever. Yeah, but I mean, yeah. So that's I was able to eventually discern that. And that's pretty much how I made it happen. It's a great boss battle. I wouldn't by any length put it in the tough enough to be like Castlevania Dracula shit or anything like that. Right. But it's certainly not easy. And I would say, like, given the younger skewing target market for this game, I think it's the appropriate amount of difficulty. You know.
Yeah. Especially when you consider the run up to the boss and all that you have to get through to kind of get here, you know, with the flying ships and all that kind of stuff just to get here. It's like, oh, finally. And even the castle, like, it seems easy to me now, but I definitely remember the first time coming through as a kid, like dying so many times, trying to get through, getting zapped, trying to make sure I'm big enough to make it all the way through the platforming just to get to the end and not wanting to get to Bowser's Small.
Yeah, I mean, if I wouldn't have noticed that flying ability through that lava shit, like, I don't even know how many times that would have been. Those donut blocks suck, you know. And they're like, it's like the small donut platforms, like just 1 or 2 bricks.
Single one.
Yeah, it's really difficult. Really tough shit.
But yeah, otherwise beating this is just like such a great feeling. I was like, finally!
Yeah. I definitely, you know, again, I'm waiting for those to shoot up. I haven't watched it. I don't know if there's like another phase or whatever, you know. So yeah, he breaks the bricks on that 3rd row and he falls through. There's not really much any visual. That's the thing too. It doesn't have, like, the screen doesn't flash or anything, you know. Like he falls through and off the screen, and you get a new music cue. that unfortunately G. Belair didn't have it in the library for the soundtrack, but you get a new music cue that you haven't heard there. It's kind of like a little bit of a I don't know. It's kind of close to the timer count off for points at the end of a level. It's like a little bit like that, but a little fuller, less tinny of a sound. Whatever the case, you get a new music tune, and then you can hear him land far down below. You know, you can hear the slam, and the screen shakes a little bit. So that's the only cue you get to suggest. You don't get to see him down there or anything. You know, yeah. So that happens, and then the same little victory tune that plays when you beat any of his tots rips in, and the steel door opens, revealing an epilepsy-inducing flashing space there where the door was. And fun fact, I thought to fence test this, save scummed, of course, before doing it, but you can jump in that hole and die. And so,
what?
Yeah, so how much of a fucking bummer would that be? Just accidentally fall down that. Yeah, that would be absolutely brutal. If you don't do that, though, and go into the epilepsy void, the screen fades to a mushroom house structure with a pink design hue to it, and Princess Toadstool is waiting in there for you. And you come through the door on the left, and she's over on the right, and they run up to each other, meet in the middle, and a dialogue box pops up with very slowly appearing text that reads, "Thank you, but our princess is in another castle, ... Just kidding, ha ha ha, bye-bye," which I somehow have never known that she says there.
Really?
Yes. I did not know that they played on that joke. So that's so fun and self-aware of them to have realized that all the way back then. That's, of course, a joke I've heard many times now, but I never, it's funny because it reframes all the memes, you know. It's like, yeah. I thought it was just, because it's funny enough just being the Toads in 1, telling you that. Like, you don't need the fucking princess throwing it at you as a joke in 3 for that to be good and make sense. It is also, I would say, like what she says there, it's kind of weird behavior if you think about it practically, given what Mario just endured, that she's like making a joke like that, you know, like I don't know, it goes with that bizarrely frigid letter writing syntax, you know. I don't know, she's just not warm enough, I don't think, for what you're doing.
It's definitely a meta game joke and not really meant to be thought of as the princess
story world. Yeah. Yeah, there's no kiss even. You don't even get a little heart or anything flying up, you know. The screen fades to the theater from the opening title sequence as the red curtain comes slowly down, and it stays down a short beat before ripping back up as the end credit music does the same. And this music track is an absolute banger. I love this. Is fucking really, really good 8-bit chiptune music. It's so fucking good. The cinematic that they start here takes you through what is kind of weird. There's no developer credits at all here of any kind. It's just a slideshow of each of the 8 worlds in the game. And I can't remember if 1 or 2... I think 2, didn't the end credits for 2 have credits as you like that Mario sleeping shit? There were developer credits for that, I think. At least a handful.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I can't remember for sure, but it seemed weird to me there were none. But yeah, they take you to a slideshow of the 8 worlds of the game, and it'll show you like the map screen as kind of like a portrait on the wall, and then there's like some scrawlings on the wall of Mario and some choice enemies mid-action scene from the world as well. And it goes through each of the 8, and the world names are different. This is what I was mentioning when we first started this episode. The world names in here are different than either the manual or the strategy guide. So they just can't get their lore straight for this game. Like World 3 is called Oceanside.
Yeah,
4 is called Big Island. Yeah, I think the ones here are all the best versions, the most creative versions of between any of the, I guess, the accompanying literature that they have for the game. So just interesting that it's not uniform. Perfect example of like why I said I wouldn't want to be a writer for the movie. Like they don't know what it is. You know? Even within one game, they don't have it straight. Let alone 30 years of how many titles. After World 8, a dope mural of Bowser and Mario going at it, framing the map shot of the castle. It cuts to the curtain coming down, and the end appears in big blue letters as this slick music track just keeps rolling on for eternity. And fun closing note to the strategy guide, they put a 2-page subscribe to our shit ad in here after the end of the game stuff. And it has the rad Pitch Kid here is holding up my first issue, the March-April 90 issue with Mario 3 on the cover, of course. And the swag they're offering here is a couple of NES journaling books. I don't know if you clocked this at the end of the strategy guide. These are fucking cool, and I did not know they exist. So they have two like levels to subscription renewal. A 1-year subscription renewal gets you what they're calling a Gamekeeper info file. And this is a pamphlet-sized book with a neon blue cover, adorned with an illustration of a kid's face on a CRT with Nintendo written on top of it. And I looked these up, and this is this blue one is a scorekeeping log. So it's like each page has fields you can write in the game pack name, the date, the scorekeeping started, and then a bunch of lines where you can log data and a date field for when you beat the game. And they at the bottom have a little rating system that you can. It goes from lame to awesome is how they describe the numbers 1 to 4 or 5 for graphics, challenge, fun, and play controls. So cool ass book you could have got. And then the 2-year renewal gets you a player's mapping and data book. And I mean, how bad do you think I want this, Jay? So it has blank mapping grids on it and a section where you can log all your passwords for games, and it tells you like the entry fields say like, allows you to put the password in, and then it says like the verbiage they use is where in the game this takes you, so they don't even have like they don't really have like a real syntax to use. It's I don't know, that's a weird wording to me. But yeah, very cool books, and I keep looking on eBay to find these things, and I've found a few of them, and they're relatively inexpensive, but I can't get the people to tell me whether they have I want a blank one, and I can't tell if they're written in or not. Although, I also love when I get instruction manuals for when I order games that have shit written in them from the kids that originally owned them. So it might be its own kind of fun to get a written in one, but I think I want to get them and do my own like Zelda map and own Metroid map, and then I'm sure that'll be a really fun little fucking art project, I think. So those are pretty fun if you want to look those up. So that's it for the one-player experience. We also did a couch co-op session yesterday and got almost to the end. Not quite. We played we did 1, played all the way through that, got into 2. You were like, fuck this, let's go to 4. And we realized and had forgotten that we could not. You have to go from 1 if you want to go to 4 because 2, 3, 4 is the warp whistle window on the top there on the warp screen. And we never even talked about that actually. You have 3 rows. There's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 8 is a standalone one on the bottom row for the warp screen. So yeah, we did all the way through 1, warped out of 2 to straight. I think we decided 7 because I was like, we don't want to do 5 or 6, so we just go straight to 7. Played through most of 7, not quite to Ludwig, and then went into 8 and got to that second airship.
Yeah, right before the final screen. Too.
Yeah, and we didn't do a fucking kind of a. There's not really much to talk about that we already haven't covered, but we didn't really. We did a bad job we should have engaged the 2-player aspect of it more.
So that's the thing. Like that's kind of what I was saying yesterday. Like the 2-player experience, like when it comes to that, like it's not really remarkable. Like unless you're like just battling with your siblings or whatever.
Really trying to combat over who goes next. Yeah.
Unless somebody's really
take their cards,
Yeah.
And even to do that, you really want to be. I don't know. You have to be like, you have to really hate the motherfucker you're playing with, at least to some, like the sibling level of rivalry has to be high to want to make it harder for either of you. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Otherwise, that just makes it more difficult.
Right. Yeah.
Fun,
So I agree. Yeah, like I'm not sitting here 30 years after the fact with a better idea or anything. But yeah, that was one aspect of the game, I suppose, that fell a little flat. They didn't really have. There wasn't some level of incentive to better engage that, or with more incentive to engage it, I should say.
Yeah, I think that's why I like the later ones like Super Mario 3D World and stuff, which are basically like this, but like upgraded and stuff for the Switch and everything, where the players are playing together, or it's more. There's no incentive. I don't really want to battle with the person I'm playing with. You know what I mean? Like I want to cooperatively go do this, which is always more fun to me.
So agreed. But yeah, this was a different time, man. They didn't even know what the fuck,
That couldn't even be done back at the time.
Yeah. Well, they didn't even. There's no game before this that's even trying to do that like allows you kind of agency over whether you make it cooperative or combative. Like, the idea that they were trying to like. They're doing so much new shit here, that's another thing that they try, and one of the few that fell flat. So no criticisms warranted there, I suppose.
map theme bringing us into the blessing. Is there even a discussion here?
No,
Josh?
it's a masterpiece. I mean, what are you gonna say?
Of course.
Yeah. I know that. You know that. We all know that. Mike Tyson's Punch Out is better, obviously, but it's a fucking masterpiece.
Just let that go.
I mean, it's, I guess to give it some level of discussion here, like, what are the games that we've done for Nintendo to date that are even in the pantheon with it? Like, yes, Mike Tyson's Punch Out. I would put I like Mario 2 more still, I think.
What? Yeah, we'll definitely disagree on that. Mario 2 is nowhere near as good as this to me.
I just think it's so. I mean, yes, I don't know. It's kind of apples and oranges, I guess. They're just both great in their own way, maybe is a better way to put it. Because there's just so much that's different in 2. I just love how unique it is. And I think that's what makes it ring a little more, shine a little bit more to me. Because Mario 3, like, yes, I mean, I raved about all the unique little nuances. But there is still a lot of, like, 1 there. There's still some... I don't know.
It's like the first real successor to
right, exactly. Yeah, 2 is just like over there. Where the fuck did that come from? And there's a reason for that. But as kids, we didn't know that, and that shouldn't detract from what the game is, even if there's like some dumb reason for it to be so different. Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, 2 is great and all, but 3 just has a special place in my heart, in my childhood. It's just it's up there.
Yeah, I mean, I would probably put Shadow of the Ninja up here with it, but yeah, there's not a lot of fucking games that are fucking even close to it, which, I suppose we knew going into it. So, I'm glad to have this checked off. I told you, fucking, dude, doing this with the side quest of Dragon Warrior 2 going on as well. Like, too much, man. Too bad. Much. Terrible decision to pack all that into the same time period. I'm so happy that we are turning our attention to just a magazine episode, and just fucking gonna be able to casually go through that and take it easy, because these are just fucking epic undertakings, both of them, to be doing simultaneously. So yes, that brings us to next up. We are doing Nintendo Power issue 18. And you can subscribe to the pod on the platform provided by whatever dumbass company that serves up your pottery. Please rate and leave positive shit for the pod on that podcast platform of choice, or any other for that matter. The website is nyehentertainment.com/ISOH pod. You can email us directly at isohpodcast@gmail.com. Follow the pod on Facebook and or Instagram. A link to the YouTube gameplay videos playlist will be in the show notes. There's the ISOH subreddit if you want to get down with us on Reddit instead of those more mainstream platforms. And we don't have a Patreon, but if you like giving money to the things podcasters tell you to, would like to do so in our direction. The Able Gamers Foundation creates custom gaming rigs for gamers with disabilities, and that is cool as fuck. AbleGamers.org is where you can find them. T-shirts are on the website. They're dope, and proceeds on those after pod expenses go to Able Gamers. Jay, what are your socials?
Gentleman JB without the second E. When I post, it's generally on Facebook just for the page, and sometimes some Instagram stuff, but otherwise that's my gamer tag. Let's play some Diablo or whatever else I'm getting into.
Okay, I am on Instagram, MyShiftKeyIsBroke. I'm on Twitter at Josh Folan. My Oculus tag is MyShiftKeyIsBroke. Okay, bye.
Bye.